This is Atomic Shinobi and today I'm going to narrate what if Naruto was Prince of Tail Beasts. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no time, let's start the story.
Kushina Uzumaki gave her newborn son a smile. Although Minato, her lover, returned her smile, Kushina felt something was off. She was only considering what she would say on the day it would occur. The day he inherited all of her abilities. The Shinju the Ten Tails itself, Kushina Otsutsuki, was actually the third. Hakai Otsutsuki was the first, followed by a woman named Mito, who was the third. Kushina Uzumaki was a lie. She was taken in by Uzu Shiogakure years ago because she was a demon queen and was wanted for her power. However, when the village started to be attacked, Kushina was wounded by a strong weapon and sent to Konoha. Naruto was the fourth of Kushina's many children, but the children were typically taken away from her when they were 10 or 13, depending on their gender. They threatened to kill her child or have the child vanish. Despite never destroying the village, Kushina detested everyone living there. The fathers typically were men with whom she had fallen in love, but when they found out, they betrayed her. After being hurt and injured, Kushina eventually turned icy and detested everything that had caused her to become that way. She changed into a child when she got to Konoha and, wanting to do more with her life, became a ninja. However, Minato came to her rescue, preventing her from being taken by Kumo, who had desired her power. As a result, she fell in love with him and became pregnant. But now that she had her third son in her arms, she considered the suffering that might soon ensue. Kushina gave Minato a smile and a kiss, saying, "He's perfect. What should we name him? I thought Naruto, but that sounds like a nickname. Let's call him Samsara. That means sage." "Yes, I know," she said, planting a kiss on the infant's forehead. Then there was a roaring sound. That roar made Kushina's heart skip a beat. It sounded like her own. Could it have been one of her kids? She noticed the nine-tailed fox outside the window. After giving Kushina a kiss, Minato vanished. After putting Naruto in the cot, she gave him a head kiss. The baby looked up and grinned as she said, "Samsara mommy be back and maybe with your big sister." In the meantime, the demon world kingdom of Kitsune. One of the Kitsunes asked the royal guard, "Did you feel that?" and replied, "Yes, that's Scarlet's roar." The other one nodded, and he exclaimed, "We should find Master." In an attempt to locate Minato, Kushina ran as quickly as she could while using her demon healing to treat her wounds. He was battling a man wearing a mask when she discovered him. "You can control the nine tails with your Sharingan. The only man who could do that was Madara Uchiha," said Minato. "Minato!" Kushina exclaimed as she sprinted in his direction. Kushina stopped dead in her tracks when he said, "At last I found you 10 tails." He then declared, Shinra Tensai, which sent her flying into the air and falling to the ground. "Go on, transform, turn into your demonic form," he said. Kushina, what is he talking about?" as he fell, nearly depleting his chakra supply. "Oh, you don't know how sad? Did you not know Kushina is the 10 tails herself?" "What? That's not true," he gasped. He fired another Shinra Tensai at Kushina, saying, "Oh, that's quite the contrary." "Stop," pleaded Minato. "Change," the man said, then blasted her once more. "Stop, change. Stop, change," he commanded, and then a powerful roar more bloodthirsty than the nine tails appeared, along with a burst of smoke. With a laugh, the man in the mask turned on his Mangekyo Sharingan and prepared to hypnotize it. Minato exclaimed, "What happened to Kushina?" The man in the mask clarified, "This is Kushina's true form." "No, this can't be," he smiled and said, "But it is," but then his expression changed. "Damn!" the masked man blurted as Minato and Hiraishin vanished. With a smile, Minato holds the infant Samara in her arms. In denial, he used Samsara's nickname to say, "That man is lying. Your Ka-san isn't a demon Naruto." The demon fox no longer has the Sharingan in its eyes when he abruptly vanishes and resurfaces in front of the nine tails. "No, don't," was screamed by a voice, and Minato turned to see the 10 tails, but they didn't look like the legends described. The beast was big and resembled the 8 tails, but its face was different. It had 6 tomoe, 2 eyes with red rings inside, ears that resembled big moths and bats, and a long white hairline. Additionally, each arm had an inverted Rinnegan eye, and the tails didn't wear tails. Instead, they appeared to be nothing more than big tail muscles. Before it could reveal itself, Minato used the Shinigami sealing style to end his life by sealing the 9 tails inside Naruto. The beast glowed as it transformed into a wolf and then vanished into smoke. Kushina tried to approach the child but passed out. The boy and Kushina were soon taken by the Anbu, While he took Naruto, Sarutobi kept an eye on Kushina, who was in a coma. In the meantime, 2 wolves and another group of foxes observed the proceedings. The red-furred fox remarked, "That idiot sealed Scarlet Sama into the boy, we must get him." The blue-furred wolf said, "No, we are not permitted to meddle with humans. We must gather Kushina Sama and depart." "And why should we get her? Huh? She's in human custody, she'll be safe." Kai: "Exactly, she's in human custody. If those filthy creatures discover she's the mother of the tailed beasts, they're either 1 turn her into a breeding camp or 2 kill her out of fear." Kai, the blue-haired demon wolf: "But she can't be killed, remember." The fox lowered his head and widened his eyes as he said, "Yes, but if we can bring one of the royal family members, we'll be able to stop the imbalance in the demon realm." "I see. I am sorry, it's my pack loyalty. I wanted to bring Scarlet Sama home, that's all," he said. Before they vanished in a tiny flash of red, he clarified, "I know, let's just get her home. Scarlet Sama has been sealed in that boy. We'll be able to find him later, but for now we need to get Kushina Sama." "Konoha Medical Center," Kai told the fox. "There she is. Be careful, Kiba. You and Tsubaki should disguise yourselves." His words, "Good idea," were followed by a kanging into a red-haired man. The other, however, turned into a woman with black hair. They nodded and Kai said, "Be careful." Looking at the woman in front of them, they went in through the window. Kiba told Tsubaki to open the portal, but a woman with pink hair entered. "You know, for kitsunes your disguises are pretty pathetic. I could sense your yokai from a mile away," said the woman. With alarm, Kiba exclaimed, "Who are you?" She said, "My name is Sayuri Haruno." "Haruno, huh, but the last time I heard that was when the vampire clan of the same name was destroyed," Tsubaki responded. "Yes, well, some escaped the wars with Akashiya clan and found refuge in the human world," she replied. "I see," they replied. "But why are you here?" "Well, seeing as your mistress Scarlet has just been sealed inside Kushina's son, I think you should know that the village so not know his demonic descent, so they will not be harming him. The reason I want him to stay here is because of the ensuing wars that may start from the Kitsune fraction and the Shinju fraction if they were to discover his sister has been sealed in him," she continued. "I can't adopt him, but I will try to defend when the time comes," she continued. "Okay, I see. You know that Kushina's followers will try and kill Kushina's son to bring Scarlet Sama back to existence, but, he stated, but was killed. Look, a lot has happened. Wait 7 years or so for things to die down and I will give him to you. The foxes are going to go through a lot about losing their leader again, so please wait so they can reform themselves. We both know how Kitsune can be so loyal, it's blind, so calm down Inari. Sama been doing great, so please calm down and let me take care of the child," she said. "I see you're saying wait for it to calm down cause all the info could make them go into a demon rage." "Exactly, but we're still taking Kushina Sama as she is in coma. When she wakes you will have to give him back," Kai replied. "Of course," she said as she watched Kushina and them vanish. Then Sayuri went into the other room and turned to face Uzumaki, who was blonde. "I wonder if you and Sakura will get along." "Demon World Shinju Temple. What's happened?" a gremlin asked. "She's entered a coma. Scarlet was somehow manipulated into attacking a human settlement named Konoha and was sealed in a child we did, however we discovered where Kushina Sama was living," stated Kai. "Yes, it seems Kushina Sama venture into the human world a couple 100 years ago didn't go so well," said he. "Filthy humans, she tries to spread the teaching of Hagoromo and they reduce her children to weapons." Another wolf said, "Let's take her home and put her in her bed so she can rest." "Yes, but we have a lot of things to discuss," replied Kai. The office of the Hokage III rubbed his beard. Minato had passed away and now had to go back to the Hokage's seat. Jiraiya revealed that they had given their son the nickname Naruto, but he was unaware of his true name. The boy was subsequently given the name Naruto by the Hokage. Sarutobi merely wished that his status as a Jinchuriki would not cause him to be hated by everyone. Among the civilian council members, Sarutobi, "We must kill the child." The other council members, who were usually by Sayuri's side, appeared alarmed when she yelled, "Enough, look, this is a child's life, can you live your life as a baby killer, you bunch of fools?" One of them exclaimed, "It's a demon, not a bae." "Even if it was, it's still a child," she replied. One person said, "I don't hear you denying it," with a hint of killer intent. Sarutobi screamed, "Enough, all of you. If even one of you bring up that idea again, I'm going to kill you all." Like frightened ants, the civilians began to cower. As the Haruno put it, pathetic bunch of human scum. Now I am going to place Naruto in an orphanage. I hope you will all support him in his life. If he wishes to become a ninja, I will tell him of his Jinchuriki status when he's a genin or of the same age," he said. They all said, "Hi," after nodding. On October 10th, 6 years later, the alleyway. "Get back here, demon," shouted a Chunin intoxicated. A young blonde said, "I didn't do anything," which infuriated the man. It was a dead end when Naruto abruptly slammed into a wall. He saw 2 other men who appeared to be Chunin, and an older man who appeared to be a Jonin. "I didn't do anything." He threw a bottle at Naruto and yelled, "Yeah you did, demon. You killed my wife and daughter, for sure." He rolled into a ball and huddled into an embrace as he examined the impact, but nothing happened. He looked up and saw a woman wearing a black cloak. If you looked closely, you could see a tiny fang sticking out from the left side of her mouth. She had long white hair and red slitted eyes. The woman was grinning at him, and the 6-year-old looked up at her. The words, "It's all right, Samsara-kun," caused a bewildered expression to emerge spontaneously. Samsara-kun? Who was that? Was I someone else she thought I was? Naruto pondered. The inebriated man yelled, "Hey bitch, get out da way. We're going to kill that demon." Saying, "Really now?" The group behind him yelled, "Yeah," in response to his statement, "Gah, get out of the way bitch unless you want to get killed." The woman let out a sigh. She said, "I guess I'll have to kill you," which caused some people in the crowd to laugh. One of them remarked, "Like a pretty young thing could you hurt us," before his arm abruptly collapsed, causing blood to splash onto the walls. "Pretty young thing, huh?" She laughed. "I'll have you know I am 4,000 years old." They shouted, "Huh," as the victim fell before them. "Oh what a shame, I didn't really want to spill blood tonight, actually I did, but as was more my teeth your neck not all over the floor," she said with an upbeat voice. "That woman she just killed," was said before she emerged from behind the group. He screamed, "What the fuck?" before his head was severed in a single, powerful blow. Grinning, the woman licked the blade's blood. Naruto was extremely frightened. Anko was not as crazy as this woman. Shaking, Naruto collapsed back to the ground. The woman approached him slowly and held out her hand. As Naruto's tension increased, she gently put her hand on his head. "Come on Samsara-kun, I shall take you home," he stammered. "Miss, I'm not called Samsara." "Oh really?" she said with amusement. "What's your name?" she asked. The word, Naruto, made her laugh. She walked Naruto home and said, "Come then, let me take you home." As the moon rose higher in the sky, after Naruto dozed off, the woman picked him up and put him to bed. She said as she left his house and locked the door, "Samsara-kun, it will happen soon. Your demon blood will awaken and your followers will come to aid you." Then she vanished into a bat swarm. October 10th, 1 week ago one boy remarked, "You're one of those Hyuga people, aren't you?" "Yeah, she's probably stuck up like that Neji kid," someone replied. According to the heiress, "No, I'm not like that." The first one said, "Yeah well," a 6-year-old blonde exclaimed, "Hey." One of them said, "What the, leave her alone," Naruto screamed as he rushed ahead. The third said, "Yeah, what are you going to do about it?" "How about I beat you up?" "Yeah right," he said, adopting an academy-style run at Naruto, who was then punched in the face. Not even feeling the pain, Naruto staggered back, shocked but unfazed. Naruto ran over and gave him a face punch. But at that precise moment, something extraordinary occurred. The boy got lodged in the tree after being thrown straight into it. As the blonde-headed Uzumaki screamed, the other two fled in terror. Naruto was more surprised than anyone else by his alleged super strength because he had never really engaged in combat. Hinata appeared startled, but then relieved. She blushed and said, "Anyo en Naruto.kun t. Thank you." Yeah," he said, looking at his fist in shock. "Naruto.kun? Oh yeah," he said, bringing himself back to the present. "How did you do that?" "I don't know, I just kinda did it," he replied. She said, "Anyo, thank you." He said, "Oh you're welcome Yua," as he searched for a name. She said, "Hinata Hyuga." He blushed as he said, "Of thanks, Hyuga Hinata. Anyway, do you want to go and play somewhere? I'm bored?" he asked. She blushed profusely, thinking that she would look foolish if she played with Naruto. "No offense B. but D. Don't why. You think these S. Someone else you can play with," she said. "Nope," was his direct response. P. Pardon, no one plays with me, and when they do their parents attack me calling me a demon. W. Why? Naruto shrugged it off and said, "I don't know." T. That's awful. I know, but do you want to play with me? Asked him. As they sprinted away, she said, of course. Naruto and Hinata began to grow weary as the day came to an end. Naruto himself felt the need to return home by the end. When Hinata's bodyguard saw Naruto, he became frightened and went to Hinata, telling her to leave him alone. Hinata, it's time to go. She pleaded, please, Ko, wait 10 more minutes. No, he yelled, we have to go. Why? She inquired. No. You're in danger being around with this demon, said he. She shocked the blonde by defending Naruto-kun by saying, he is not a demon. Nobody stands up for me, he blushed slightly as he thought. With a smile, he said, come now, Hinata. But she began, but Ko pulled her away. Naruto attempted to follow her, but some thugs showed up, so Naruto had to flee, resulting in the thugs attacking him in the alleyway and the white-haired woman saving him. As the thugs he paid off went about their business, Ko smiled. Currently, the academy as he emerged from his last prank's detention, Naruto grinned. When he realized it was nighttime, he grimaced and leapt to the roof, using his mega bounce ability to leap from building to building as he ran home. Though he didn't think about it much, Naruto didn't know the source of his abilities. Whack! A bat struck Naruto across the face. After being struck squarely in the face, Naruto collapsed to the ground. His lifeless body hit the floor hard. As 4 more men showed up and began beating him with clubs, the man smiled. Then a bigger man with a butcher's axe materialized, slamming it into Naruto's arm and chopping it off. ARGH was Naruto's spine, tingling scream. Residents of Haruno, when Sayuri heard the scream, she instantly stopped and fled for the door, even though she was busy washing the dishes. What are you going to do, honey? Her husband inquired. She thought, blast, I forgot he doesn't have my hearing. She didn't hear it. Sakura questioned, Mummy, what was that scream? She's starting to gaw after all this shit. She let out a mental scream. She told them both, honey, I'm going to get something from down the street, Sakura, but it was probably nothing. She left her apartment through the door and hurried down the stairs. Sayuri's eyes turned red and slitted, and her hair turned white as she opened the seal on the back of her neck. After donning her cloak, she dashed to where the scream had come from. The alleyway curling up on his legs was Naruto. Blood was being picked up from the hand that was attempting to contain the fountain of blood gushing from his left arm, which was stubbed where it should have been. He screamed as purple chakra engulfed his body, this is my blood. He muttered. As his skin turned a light purple, think Obito's Jinchuriki transformation purple in color. Naruto's hair turned white and began to grow, his eyes turned purple and slitted, his arms sprouted scales similar to Samahata's scales above his hands and on his arm, his nails grew and turned black, and 2 strange fleshy spires sprouted from his back. Think the beginning of a pair of wings, but the feathers didn't grow and they were cut in half diagonally and they become muscular like the 8 tails. His mop of hair kept growing until it appeared to be Madara Uchiha's head. At last, 10 wolf-like tails emerged from behind him, and his attire changed to a white kimono and cloak, similar to his father's but without the kanji or flames. According to one of them, what, you will pay? He exclaimed, his anger halting the chakra aura and sending them flying in all directions. The men began to flee, completely terrified. As the other 2 screamed, Naruto used purple chakra to make a sword and cut off the other man's arms. Let's see how you like it having your arm ripped, oh you, he screamed. After outpacing Hireishin in appearance, Naruto sliced off the man's arm before doing the same to the other man. Suddenly, the boy's mind began to chuckle in a dark yet feminine way. A woman's voice uttered, good little bother, kill them all. He said, his tone no longer demon, like, who's there? The woman said, I'm here. Naruto turned to see a big black gate. There was a woman behind it. He said, who are you? He became alarmed when she said, but you can call me Ne-san. I go by many names. My followers call me Scarlet, short for my title as the Scarlet Princess, she said, confusing him. Some may call me Benihime and some may call me the Kyuubi. What? He exclaimed in shock. I am your big sister. Naruto stammered. But you're the Kyuubi. Yeah, and you're the Shinju. What? He exclaimed. Oh Naruto, or shall I call you by your real name Samsara? She started. When you were born, my mother Kushina Otsutsuki, also known as Kushina Uzumaki, was the 3rd 10 tails, making her the Sandaime Shinju. Each Shinju is created when the original one dies or is unable to continue its goal. Shinju are able to have children with humans but not demons. Mom had 4 children, Shukaku, Goku, me and you, she explained. We are 4 of the 10 Biju, the others are the children of the previous Shinju. She said. The original Shinju was known as Hakai Otsutsuki and had 2 daughters, the 2 tails and the 7 tails. Mito, the second Shinju, had 4 children, the 5 tails, 6 tails, the 3 tails and the 8 tails. Mito was born after Hakai died at the hands of the Sage of the 6 Paths after he craved to kill Hagoromo's mother after she ate the fruit of his god tree form. After he died, he turned back into his god tree form. When Kaguya became pregnant again, Hakai made one last move in revenge. He influenced her pregnancy and turned her child into his. When Mito was born, no visible effects were found, but as she became older she started to realize she had the power of the Shinju. Keeping it in secrecy, she lived her life and had children. When her husband discovered her secret, he called on Hagoromo to kill her, who agreed, horrified, and trapped her in the moon. Her children became horrified and attacked Hagoromo's hometown, forever embodying the tailed beasts as demons of destruction and terror forever. Mito then dispersed her power to the surface, where as a fruit named the Shinju fruit after years of people trying to find it. It ironically was found in apple tree outside Uzushigakure, where Kushina found and ate it, mistaking it as an apple, and became the next Shinju when she was young, she explained. He said, so my mother is the 10 tails, but what about my father? As soon as a frown appeared on the woman's face, she sighed and inhaled. Look, Samsara, your father. Your father was the 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze. N.No, you're lying T. That can't be true. If that was true, then I wouldn't have been hated, he replied. Samsara, it is true, the 3rd Hokage planned to mold you into his weapon. He wanted the civilians to treat you bad so you would be desperate for love. Then he would have had you become attached to him and push you into Danzo's training regimen so you would be able to become a weapon for Konoha. That's not true, Scarlet. Nay-san, said he. Samsara it is, and use my name Benihime, it is the one Mum gave me. Beinheim.Nay-san. Yes. I know what I must do. What? Benihime smirked and placed a hand on his shoulder as he shook in anger and said, I'm going to become what they labeled me. I'm going to strike fear into their souls, but they won't even know it's me. I will make them pay. She shocked the boy by picking him up and giving him a hug. As darkness began to engulf everything, she said, go on then, show them fear, show all that wronged you terror and fear. Naruto was in bed when he woke up. He noticed that it was daytime when he looked around. How did I hear the sun rising? He exclaimed. From behind him, a woman's voice said, you know you should never think out loud, it's not good for you. He asked the woman, who are you? The woman wore a black cloak and had long pink hair, green eyes, and a well-proportioned chest. Didn't Scarlet Sama teach you anything? I am one of your followers, she responded. Followers? Yes, remember Scarlet. Sama told you are a demon god, remember the Shinju, also known as the 10 tails. Many demons follow your legacy and past, and we have awaited the day where Kushina, Sama's son, will awaken his demonic bloodline, she replied. He said, wait, do you know where my mother is? Yes, of course, you can meet her after school, but... No buts, Lord Samsara, didn't you say you wanted to make Konoha pay? Well, this is the perfect cover, an idiotic prankster, she replied. How did you? He began to inquire. Her explanation that, you talk in your sleep, made the blonde pale. She began, here, take this, placing a round metal disc on his hand before it melted and turned into black ink. The ink then transformed into a seal with an odd pentagram appearance rather than the typical swirl. Now then, quickly, I will teach you to seal you demonic appearance. Just place chakra into that and you go into your demonic form, then put demonic chakra into that and you will return to normal, she said. He questioned, who are you? Inquiring as to how she knew so much about him. I go by many. She started laughing when he yelled, don't start that shit again. Ya no. She surprised him by saying, I was only doing it to wind you up. Anyway, my name is Sayuri Haruno. But if you're one of my followers, that makes you a demon, and if you're a Haruno, then Sakura is a demon, said he. Yes, I know, I still haven't told her yet, so don't say anything about it. She's started to pick some traits from me, so yeah. She stated, I am a vampire, so I've been putting tomato juice in her lunchbox. I am going to tell, don't hate her for an aggressive attitude as well, she's just mad at everything at the moment, she can't sleep cause she's been having nightmares. She clarified that Naruto was going to the bathroom. He decided to wear a white shirt and white cargo pants after washing his clothes and taking a look at his regular wardrobe. Sayuri warned him to exercise caution as he left. After using his superhuman speed to leap from building to building undetected, Naruto finally arrived at the academy and entered the classroom. He glanced around the classroom and noticed the young Hyuga heiress, who appeared to be distressed about something. Although he was unsure of what drove him to choose to sit next to her, he suspected it was his demon blood. It's because he uses emotion sensing to feel her feelings. He shouted, "Hey Hinata! Oh Naruto, it's you," she exclaimed in alarm. He questioned, "What's the matter Hinata?" "Oh nothing. Lire, I can tell you're upset." "How?" With a smile, he said, "Oh, I just can ya know." "Oh, anyway Hinata, do you want to go and play with me at lunchtime?" "But wouldn't you get hurt again?" he remarked. "Nah, I'll just beat them up, I'm super strong remember," but he did question how the thugs would attack him. "Oh yeah, I forgot." Iruka yelled, "All right class, let's begin," as the lesson began. Naruto and Hinata left for lunch after the first 4 periods, unpacking their lunches while seated by a tree. Hinata's included a juice box and cinnamon rolls that were arranged delicately. Naruto's included a huge bottle of soda and a flask of miso ramen. Naruto inquired, "So then after this what do you want to play?" Hinata answered, "I guess we could try and climb a tree." "Really? I thought you would want to do something girly or something simple." She stammered, "Well if you want to." She blushed when he said, "Nah, that stuff is boring, just be yourself." They started climbing the tree shortly after they finished eating. Thus far, Hinata has demonstrated proficiency in climbing the tallest tree halfway. Hinata's ability to control her chakras allowed her to be farther away than Naruto, who was using his claws. One of his only distinguishable demon features, along with his whisker marks, unslitted purple eyes, superhuman strength, and speed. Naruto soon caught up to her. Her chakra was being depleted more quickly than usual, and before long, it was nearly gone. As Hinata fell from the tree branch, Naruto watched. In a panic, Prince, the demon, leapt from the tree and dropped a dive bomb, which allowed him to reach the ground first. Making a loud hammering noise to attract everyone's attention, they all turned to watch Naruto as he caught Hinata as she fell to the ground. Many of the children watched as the blonde set the heiress down and rushed over to put her on. A slug was sucking on Hinata's ankle when Naruto examined her body. Iruka soon showed up and made her way into the huddle, being careful not to trip the little 6-year-olds. When he noticed the purple slug affixed to her leg, his face went white. Everyone was stunned and fled, with Naruto being the only one who did not run away. "Everyone get out of here, that's a demon slug, it feasts on humans' chakra and can even turn you into a demon, get out of here," he yelled. "Naruto, get out of here," Naruto said. "Gimme a sec, Iruka. Sensei. Get of Hinata. Get off here and kill yourself, you slug." As soon as he thought that, the slug froze, separated, breathed in, and burst into purple gore and gut pieces. "What happened?" Iruka inquired. "I have no idea," was Naruto's covert lie, while it was smiling. "Anyway, you should get Hinata-chan to the doctors." "Yeah, I should," as too worried to notice Naruto's honorific. Naruto completely forgot about meeting Sayuri at his house and hurried to the hospital after school. He entered the hospital room with a super jump and left a small note and a bunch of flowers by the sleeping Hyuga. Then, before departing, he sat next to Hinata. However, he did catch her mumbling about him while she slept, which made him blush with some of the coarse language. He then hurried home, where Sayuri glared at him. She shouted, "I've been waiting for an hour." "Shesh, calm down Hinata. Chan got hurt so I dropped by and gave her some flowers," he said. "All right," she said, pulling out a key and inserting it into nothing, which caused a door to appear. She opened it and stepped inside, followed by Naruto. "And that's your home, the Shinju Temple," she said, pointing to the temple composed of stone, marble, and gold. "Here we are Samsara. Sama, the demon realm." "Really?" he cried out. "Yes, no, first I believe you wanted to meet your mother, she's still in a coma but you can still see her," he exclaimed. "Awesome." As soon as the guards stopped them, Samsara and Sayuri began to ascend the stairs leading to the temple. Together, they uttered, "Halt, who goes there?" "And this is Samsara Otsutsuki, also known as Naruto Uzumaki, the new Shinju," she exclaimed, causing both of them to widen their eyes. "I am Sayuri, one of the last members of the Haruno vampire clan," she added. "But he doesn't look like a demon," someone commented. He nodded when she said, "Samsara. Sama, please deactivate your seal." His body was covered in white bandages after his seal was unlocked, and then he exploded, exposing his demon. Both guards let out a gasp. "Welcome, Lord Samsara," Samsara said, "thanks." As he entered the building, he saw the statues of 3 people. A man in a kimono with long, spiked hair and 2 big swords in each hand. A woman with a kimono and her hair in 2 buns. And a woman with long, straight hair and a kimono. Each had a pair of fang marks on their face and the kanji 10 on their back. Sayuri then approached a door with numerous ceiling tags on it. "The door can only be opened by Samsara," she stated. He began. How'd I? But as he got closer, the door flew open and the tags burned off. Samsara walked slowly over to the bed and got into it. There was a woman in the bed who resembled Naruto in face structure, had long silver hair, 2 black fang marks on her face, and was dressed in a white nightgown. Wow, Ma is really gorgeous, you know, he exclaimed. After learning back, Naruto touched Kushina's hand, which set off a flash. When Samsara turned to look around, she noticed a woman wearing a hood. Samsara-kun. She exclaimed deeply. He shouted, Mum, as she removed her hood. Oh Samsara-kun, I am so glad to see, Mum, he exclaimed, jumping into her embrace. The 6-year-old gave his mother the strongest hug he could and began to cry with joy. They eventually stopped. Okawa-san, what's happened? Why are we here? This my mind, I am waking up because you activated your demonic powers. I was in a coma because I was giving you a lot of my powers. Now that's done, I should wake up soon and I'll be able to raise you here in the demon world. But what about Konoha? I hate everyone there, but there's this one girl I really like and she. Fine, as long as you live here when you're not in the human world, fine. Also, I only want you to use your demon powers when you're in combat and to keep it a secret from others, okay? She replied. Really, Mum? Yeah, of course, thanks, he said. World of Demons, Sayuri gasped as Kushina woke up after Samsara fell on his ass while he was getting up. Sayuri came alive and asked, Kushina, Sama, are you okay? Yeah, I am Sayuri, though I have pins and needles and I am a bit stiff, she said. Mum, you know Sayuri? Yeah, of course I do, she was on my Genin squad with Makoto, she replied. Oh wow, really? Yeah, she said. Yet she still calls you Kushina, Sama. She did back then and she does now, why change it? Laughing, Naruto said. Ha, I see. Anyway, Naruto-kun, we've got a lot to talk about, so let's start at the beginning. Naruto screamed. What, you were attacked? Yes, Samsara-kun, I was attacked by a masked man who hypnotized Benihime Chan and used her to attack the village. Your father Minato placed her inside you not knowing your demon heritage. So he never knew you were the Jubi. She paused and rubbed her hand, saying, no, I would have told him, but time had proven me otherwise, she said angrily and regretfully. Mum, are you okay? Yeah, never better, she said, bringing her vivacious demeanor back into play. With concern, he said, okay. Anyway, Naruto-kun, I will be teaching you demon jutsu from now on after school when you return from the human world, okay? He said, sure thing, Ma. Good. I will also be able to talk to you through a demon seal, okay? Thanks, Ma. Anyway, it's bedtime, so up you go. With a perplexed expression on his face, he said, I've never lived here, so where would I be sleeping? She said, where was he? To Sayuri. He was living in Konoha. I see, she said. A demon wolf said, Samsara. Sama, I'll take you to your room. Naruto uttered, okay. What's wrong, Samsara-kun? Kushina inquired. I've just never met a talking wolf, let alone a normal wolf, and I am not used to this whole Samsara thing, he said with disbelief. I see, well, how about you go by Naruto in the human world, and in the demon world we'll call you Samsara, except from me and Benihime Chan call you Naruto, she replied. He smiled and said, oh, okay. Benihime took advantage of the fact that Naruto was promptly put to bed and fell asleep, allowing her to seep out of the seal sufficiently to give him a hug while he slept. Sayuri eventually departed to go to the human world and put Sakura to sleep. After eating breakfast, Samsara got up the following morning and made the decision to wash and dress. Kushina then gave her son a hug and sent him off to school. Benihime, meanwhile, simply returned to her seal. Seeing that it was 30 minutes before school, Naruto, dressed as usual in a white shirt and jogging bottoms, made the decision to visit Hinata in the hospital. He was appalled to find blood everywhere in their room, which appeared to have been the scene of a fight. He was shocked to see all the dead Anbu there. He began to sniff out her scent, saying, was this Hinata or was it someone else? Either way, I've got to find her. He heard chanting and followed the scent into the forest. The young demon prince saw several humans beating Hinata with stones after it happened, and judging by their appearance, they were all Hyuga. Naruto changed into a demon and fashioned a purple chakra sword with his dark chakra. He leapt down and cut the leader's arm, sending more Hyuga spinning around, but nobody was there. When they turned around, Naruto was holding the broken Hinata purple chakra, which was spiraling around him. Never again! He screamed, spinning his purple chakra around, never will I let you hurt her. Wah! What is this? Exclaimed one of them. One of them cried out, this power, this yokai, this energy, it is evil. He declared, I am going to kill all of you. The 6 started to flee, but Naruto launched multiple purple chakra chains with swords on the end, slicing up the men. This child, this demon, his power, it's like I'm seeing the Shinigami. He's a demon, a wolf demon. He's the Shinigami wolf, one of the 6 stammered. Naruto smiled. The Shinigami wolf, sounds good, he smiled. I am your death, the shadow that crushes man's will, the one that burns the land and scorches the seas, the one that turns deserts to glass, the one that leaves evil in ruins, the protector of innocent man or demon. I will not let scum like you exist. He declared out loud, holding Hinata in his arms. I am evil yet I am good, I am Samsara Otsutsuki. He screamed to the heavens, allowing his voice to reach everyone. I am your hero, I am your villain, he said. As he vanished with Hinata in a whirlpool of flames, he whispered in her ear, I am you Procteator. Cave Hinata was set down on the ground by Samsara. He removed his cloak and laid it over her head. Samsara lit a fire outside the cave and got a log to sit on. He went to check on Hinata after starting a fire. Samsara found it amusing that the young Hyuga made epping noises and whispers while she slept. Samsara took a seat by the fire and watched it burn while reflecting. I wonder. I'm smarter when I'm like this, or at least that's how I feel, but I'm dumber when I'm human. He thought, almost like a different person. Well done, Naruto.kun. Benihime told him, because it's true that your brain is only 20% active in your human form, but demons need up to 50%. The demon in his stomach said, Oh hey nay, Chan, to his 9-tailed sister. She began, Hey there, little brother. So then I see you took a liking to this girl, she said, causing Naruto's face to blush slightly before scowling. You dare not even begin. Start what? She smiled. That whole thing about mates, she teased. Oh little brother, we've hardly spoken yet, and you still don't know what I'm going to say. Oh, keep quiet. So, what are you going to do when she awakens? I have no idea, he said sarcastically. I suppose I could just tell her that I'm a demon prince and the heir to the most powerful Bijuu's power, which dwarfs even the 9 tails. She said, all right, little brother, calm down. Yes, but seriously, I believe we should first ask her what happened and continue to be in your demon form. This may frighten her, but it will. 1. Prevent her from learning that you are a demon, and 2. Hide your identity, Benihime said. Sure thing, big sis, he mentally yelled. It took a long time for Hinata to wake up, and Samsara was worried about her well-being because the poor girl appeared to have been beaten. What was worse was her dad's mumbling to stop whatever he was doing in her nightmare, which she occasionally let out. After a half-hour of pleading with him to stop, she finally woke up. The Hyuga princess uttered, W. Where am I? You were attacked, remember I saved you from those thugs, said Samsara. What a demon. When she screamed, she slipped on a rock and fell over. The young girl curled into a ball and began to shiver, waiting for him to kill her. What is that? She asked, looking up to see the young demon prince grinning and tending to her right shoulder. He told the girl, Why would I want to kill you? You're a nice person. She said, W. Who are you? My name is Samsara Otsutsuki. I am the prince to the throne of demons, or you could just call me the 10 Tails, said he. 10 Tails. As she flipped over and crawled to the cave's end, Hinata yelled in shock. Please Hinata, don't be scared, said he. How are you aware of my name? She asked, terrified beyond belief. Oh shit, he stammered out. You might as well tell her, kid, Benheim thought to himself. Oh okay. Why are you talking to yourself and how do you know my name? I know you because I am a Naruto. What? She shouted as she saw him change into the academy boy with the red hair. Yeah, he said with a trembling laugh, and then the young Hyuga caught Naruto in an embrace. She sobbed and whimpered, s.soy.uk. No W. What it's like to be.bead, demon. Yes, but why don't you act like a demon? He uttered. I'm a demon too, she said, wiping away her tears, and I have to tell you something, Naruto.kun. But your Hyuga isn't a demon there. Yes, but that worm that bit me the other day was some sword demon that turned humans into demons. Now because of it I have red chakra, a known fact of demon. So show me your demon form. As Naruto thought for a moment, she said, that's the thing from what this woman told me, I won't gain a demon form till I get to 12. Benihime proposed. Naruto.kun asked her what the women looked like, and Naruto nodded inwardly. Hinata, what did the woman look like? She didn't tell me her name, but she told me that she was an expert in demonology. She had long white hair, red eyes, and a black cloak, and she appeared to be in her early 20s. Due to a book that her vampire clan used to explain their abilities and or curses to other demons or half-demons. Benihime remarked, that sound is exactly like Sayuri. I see, I think I know who she is, but more importantly why were you attacked, he responded. Those guys that attacked me were Hyuga men, they were sent by my father who wanted me to be killed after they discovered I had a demonic chakra with their Byakugan eyes, she said. In his words, those bastards, she pleaded, please don't kill them. Why I should kill them, those ass hole, we're going to kill you. She said, but. Look Hinata, those people were evil. No, they weren't, it was father who sent them, they were just doing their jobs, she replied. His words, yet there took pleasure in hurting you, caused her eyes to widen. But, Hinata began, but Naruto's embrace silenced her. Hinata. I won't allow you to be harmed by them once more. I understand that not everyone in the world is kind because of the abuse I've received. I'm sorry, Hinata. Those people are evil. I had to kill them because they were terrible people who didn't deserve to live. If I didn't, their hatred would drive them to target you once more and inflict more suffering. That's because most people are naturally hateful, though not all of them are. He said, I won't let you get caught up in its web of never-ending hurt. He didn't realize how mature he sounded or that he called her Hinata. Hate causes pain, and pain creates hate. It's an endless cycle. Anyo Naruto. She said, blushing profusely from Naruto's remark and the fact that he was embracing her. She was fighting to keep from passing out. With a genuine smile rather than a silly one, he said, so then Hinata. Let's go to the academy, I make sure you will be protected there. She stammered, Thank you Naruto. And when she stood up, she began to limp. Naruto saw this and told her to sit down. What are you doing? When he sniffed her leg, she inquired. Sorry if this is creepy, but I go check you injury, it looks like you got an injured bone. Do you smell my wound? He licked his hand and put it on Hinata's leg, and as soon as the liquid went away and the wound healed, he said, yeah, I can smell the cartilage and the calcium in your bones through the iron of your blood and flesh, and I realized that your bones were fractured. Hinata-chan, how do you feel? He asked. She said, okay, Naruto. Kun. Let's go to the academy. They had to rush to class before the bell rang because Naruto and Hinata arrived late to the academy. Iruka greeted them with a smile and showed them to their seats. Although Hinata was anxious, Naruto sat next to her, suggesting that she was more concerned with avoiding fainting than with the happenings in her clan. During this time, no one seemed to notice Naruto's protectiveness of the girl. Whenever someone made a comment about her tardiness, he glared at them, and when they made fun of her, he flashed the daggers. Most people simply shrugged it off. The little future Genins soon ran out into the courtyard to play, train, eat, and generally be the little blighters they are as the day wore on, and finally the lunchtime bell rang. Naruto and Hinata decided to sit under a tree and eat, and after some time of chatting, the Haruno showed up. Hi Hinata. The moment she yelled, I heard you were kicked out of your clan, she began to cry. Why am I seeing her speaking with a Courtney accent? You, Sakura. Thinking about how much her mother had done for him, Naruto paused in the middle of his sentence, chose to ignore her, and held the broken Hyuga princess in his arms. What? Never mind. Whatever, weirdo. His words, sure thing, vampire girl, caused her eyes to enlarge. She turned around and said, how did you? But the moment she saw him and Hinata were gone. The day finally came to an end, but Hinata had nothing to wear because she had been expelled from her clan and had nowhere to live, so Naruto decided to let her sleep in his apartment. Knowing that she couldn't go to the demon world because Benihime had told him that the atmosphere would kill her until her demonic features appeared, then she could go, Naruto decided to get a spare bed he had and let her sleep on it. Naruto informed his mother that he would be staying in the demon world but would return on Saturday to catch up because it was Friday tomorrow. Kushina understood, and Naruto did so, but in the meantime, Hinata's demonic chakra began to affect her. It had been a year since Hinata had acquired demonic chakra. Nothing had happened to her yet, but Kushina stated that her demonic features would manifest later. What they wore was anyone's guess. Over the course of the previous 12 months, Naruto and Hinata had become close, and Naruto had learned more ninjutsu and taijutsu techniques, while Hinata had discovered that her affinity was water and lightning, which allowed her to release storms. They had made friends with the other students in the class because Naruto had received enough attention to avoid being a fool in class, while Hinata had gotten along with Sakura, Ino, and Tenten. Naruto and Hinata now share an apartment, and although Naruto occasionally visits the demon world, he usually stays with Hinata in the real world. Kushina usually entered the human world at night to look after Naruto, who was nocturnal anyhow, so it didn't really matter that his mother was walking around the apartment. This was half the reason Naruto fell asleep in class, though he did create a seal to hide his fatigue during missions. Hinata pretended to be shy as usual, while Naruto pretended to be a fool because, after all, it was the best cover for the Demon Prince. When Naruto and Hinata heard a cry for help, they ran into the alley and watched as 4 thugs attacked Sakura. Naruto turned to Hinata and told her to hide on the roof while he dealt with the situation. Then, assuming his demon form, Samsara launched his attack, first running towards the first thug and ripping out his jugular vein, instantly grabbing the attention of the other 2. The 7-year-old jumped up and smashed their heads together, splattering chunks of skull, flesh, blood, and eyes everywhere. Samsara looked at the blood and used a jutsu to bottle it up in a flask before throwing it to Sakura. With a smile, he teased, "Drink up, little Miss Vampire. Once you drink that, you can torture them forever." "How did?" she began, but he vanished. What kind of demon was he anyway? She thought, since he appeared to be a hybrid of a Shinigami and lion. "Naruto-kun, why do you have to be so bloodthirsty?" replied Hinata. He shrugged and said, "I don't know, guess it's my demon blood." "Oh, I see," she thought, "and I hope I don't end up that way." The words, "Don't worry Hinata-chan," and "You won't even notice the brutality of what you're doing when you do it," made her anxious and made him laugh. "Come Hinata. Let's go home." Kushina greeted them with, "Oh hey there kids," and gave Naruto and Hinata a firm embrace before letting go and asking, "So how was school today?" "Good, nothing that interesting happened other than I saved Sayuri's daughter Sakura from a group of thugs," said he. "I used my demon form so she didn't know who I am." "Oh okay, I thought you want to friend with her seeing as she's a vampiress," she replied. "Just cause she's a demon doesn't mean we have to befriend her, besides she's a bit of bitch cause her demon powers are giving her nightmares as they're growing, so I'll wait at least till she's 12 before I befriend her," said he. An awkward, "Oh, okay," was Kushina's response. He declared, "In any case, Hinata and I will train in the pocket dimension I created." Yeah, he is so strong that he can create pocket dimensions. As she watched him and Hinata smile as they entered the pocket dimension, she grinned and said, "K. I really hope he gets together with that girl," she thought. Then, prepared to lead her army to overthrow yet another autonomous city, Kushina vanished into the demon realm, preparing to regain control of her realm. Sakura's resident Sakura wore her ruined clothes inside her home. Since he was on a mission, he knew she would not return home for another 4 days. She then entered the kitchen, where her mother was waiting for her, which made her feel a little uneasy. She inquired, "Sakura, did anything happen to you?" "Why? Yeah, these thugs jumped me and started beating me up for no reason, then this demon appeared," she continued, "slaughtered them and gave me their blood, I don't know why though. I guess I should have told her," she thought, because they must have been sensor types and must have detected Sakura's demonic chakra and attacked her. "Are you alright?" Sakura inquired. Sayuri opened the door to the basement, which was concealed behind a genjutsu, and said, "Yeah, of course. But I have to show you something," she added. Sakura trailed after her mother into the basement and said, "Wait, we have attic. There are numerous shelves filled with partially melted candles inside. A slab of text was imprinted into the wall, and numerous runes and incantations were scattered across it. The images carved into the wall above were the most fascinating feature." She said, "Mum, what is this?" "This is the last relic of her clan," she said. Sakura asked, "Clan?" "Yes, the Haruno clan of Shinso vampires, one of the 3 groups of Shinso vampires," she replied. "Versus vampires?" She spoke haltingly. "Yes Sakura, where vampires, where demons. This world is full of demons secretly living amongst us. Some are demons and don't even know it. Among the world of humans is the demon world, another plane of existence where demons live. In that world there are 10 princes and princesses to the throne of the demon world. They are known as the tailed beasts. The current queen is the 3rd Jubi named Kushina Otsutsuki. The heir to throne is the 4th Shinju Samsara Otsutsuki. We are vampires, as such we loyally follow the Shinju. In fact, they live right here in Konoha. In time you will meet them, but first you need to become a true vampire and drink the blood in that flask," laughed B. But she obeyed her mother's demand to open it, while attempting to avoid upsetting her. She immediately lunged for the blood, consuming it with hunger and lust after smelling it. Now that her thirst had been quenched, she dropped the flask in horror. What D? She stammered, but her mother's hand on her head silenced her. As she gave her daughter a hug, she reassured her, saying, "Don't worry, Sakura, it's okay, it's natural. I was scared at first too." At the moment, Kushina had just returned from the demon world to bid farewell, and Naruto and Hinata were getting ready for the academy and waiting to start. Following her farewell kisses to Naruto and Hinata, Kushina began cleaning Naruto's apartment. Moving swiftly through the Konoha slums were the two 7-year-olds. They struck and slammed into an alleyway as they were about to enter the market district. Naruto was stabbed to the ground with chakra rods just as he was ready to attack them. He lost the ability to use his chakra, demonic chakra, and even senjutsu energy because of the rods. He was trapped because his body could not move. One of the 6 men said, "We finally got you, demon boy. We're demon hunters and you are my friend or biggest catch," he said, smiling disparagingly at Hinata after she had been bitched and slammed into a wall. "Hinata!" exclaimed Naruto. One of them tried to kick Naruto in the face and exclaimed, "Oh, don't act like you care, demon. Demons don't have feelings. Remember, you little shit." After snarling, the 7-year-old bit the man's leg and tore it off. The man screamed, "Ah," as he fell. The leader said, "You're going to pay for that, you little shit." Hinata, meanwhile, looked on in horror. Naruto was being cut, stabbed, and left disfigured. Hinata watched as she experienced anger, a feeling she had hardly ever experienced before. Hinata's red chakra burst forth. The massive yokai pouring of Hinata was the only thing that could have stunned the group. As the girl's fingernails grew, she developed wolf ears and a wolf tail. As she raced in their direction, she yelled, "Don't you ever hurt my Naruto-kun." Unexpectedly cruelly, she slammed one of their teammates into a wall while the 5 demon hunters watched. As Hinata drove her palm into the man's head, shattering it open like a hammer to a melon, he coughed blood. After what she had done, Hinata turned around, a little shaken, but she didn't have time to fully realize that one of the hunters had charged her. She whirled around to avoid the attack and kicked his legs, causing him to collapse. Crushing his face beneath her feet, she leapt into the air and landed on it. Unexpectedly, Naruto smiled at this. God, she's amazing like this. Then, as she transformed her wolf-like features into cat-like ones, Hinata smiled. Acquiring ears, whisker marks, long nails, and a cattail. 2 of the hunters pursued her, but she simply used her claws to cut off their face, causing them to scream, and then she sliced the jugular vein, causing blood to flow everywhere. The leader was the final one, and he was going to be tough. As he attempted to strike her with his sword, Hinata ducked all 21 of his slashes. She then activated her Byakugan and used 64 palms on him. She hit the hunter several times, leaving him stunned. After avoiding her 3rd round of assaults, he landed on the roof. In a leap of red chakra, the Hyuga leapt to its feet. Then, with strength equal to Tsunade's, she slammed her palm down and smashed the building's roof. When the debris fell away, a chubby man eating a bowl of cereal wearing only his boxers was visible. The two simply stopped perspiring and carried on fighting. His sword sliced off the girl's fingers as she slashed with several blows. Hinata's fingers grew back, and she simply gritted her teeth. Hinata caught the leader's sword as he threw it at her, smashing it against the ground and breaking the blade. Now helpless, the leader saw her slam her fist into his stomach while he coughed up blood. As more blood spurted from his mouth, eyes, and face, the Hyuga continued to punch him until the blood was streaming out of his face. As she murderously, "Wait, what?" killed him, the Hyuga smiled. After that, the Hyuga leapt to free Naruto from his restraints. As soon as the girl passed out, he said, "Quick question. What did you mean by 'don't hurt my Naruto-kun'?" With a smile, the red-headed man led Hinata back to his apartment. He pulled Hinata in as he yelled, "Mum, you still HAER?" As soon as she saw Hinata's new demon form, she exclaimed, "Naruto-kun, you should be at school. Why are you oh?" "We were attacked by demon hunters and they got me down by restraints, but Hinata activated her demon powers and killed them," he continued. "It kinda gave me a murder boner," he murmured. "What?" exclaimed Kushina. "Nothing," he said abruptly. "Anyway, can you look at her? Yeah, she's a Neko cat. Wait, no, she's a demon shifter, a demon that can change between different Hanyu forms." She continued. "Most can turn into only 2 forms, but Hinata show potential for 4 forms: cat, wolf, fox and dog." She laughed. She also now has a water and lightning affinity, giving her storm release. She laughed. "Now that's a powerful Kekkei Genkei." "Awesome, so Hinata-chan's got some awesome abilities." "Yeah," she nodded, and Kushina said, "Let's put her on her bed now, she looks tired." As he looked after Hinata, Naruto said, "Sure thing, Okawa-san." With Hinata's transformation into a demon, Kushina smiled, saying that everyone could now train and reside in the demon realm. They could all reside and train in the demon realm if Naruto could build a bushin. The wall of Naruto Uzumaki's apartment had a few cracks that served as a portal to the demon world. A 13-year-old boy, a 12-year-old girl, and a woman who appeared to be about 27 but was actually 33 years old emerged from it. Depending on who you asked, the boy was either Samsara Otsutsuki or Naruto Uzumaki. There were 2 sliver streaks in the boy's long red hair, a pair of fingerless shinobi gloves, a bandolier of scrolls, a red Hokage jacket with the kanji for Yonda Mine Shinju on it and black flames on the bottom, a black vest, a mesh shirt, black ninja pants, 2 black boots, and a red open Chunin vest were all on him. The girl, who went by the name Hinata Hyuga, was dressed in a purple jacket with the kanji for Demon Shifter, and black flames rimmed around the bottom, tight black ninja pants, a mesh vest, an open purple hoodie, and ninja gloves. She was either Kushina Otsutsuki or Kushina Uzumaki. The woman's kimono, which was black and purple, pressed against her curves. Before turning to face the demon shifter, the woman smiled while glancing at her apprentice and son. She gave a nod, and they hugged each other. With a smile, the 2 kids vanished in a cloud of smoke. Grinning, Kushina stepped through the still, open door. In preparation for the Genin test, Naruto and Hinata arrived on the school grounds. In order to prevent any abnormal changes in their appearance or personality, the 2 secret demons had created a clone every day before school. In essence, there won't be any holy shit moments like what happened to Naruto and Hinata. After acing the Genin exams, Naruto and Hinata announced that Anko Matriyoshi would be their sensei and that their team would be composed of Sakura and both of them. Team 8 with Shino, Kiba, and Sasuke and Kakashi came next, followed by Ino, Shikadacho and Asai, and then another group of people with Kurenai. Despite the fact that everyone was wearing masks that concealed their chakras, Naruto seemed to sense something about the group. Sakura, Naruto, and Hinata went upstairs to await their sensei. Interestingly, Naruto noticed that the Haruno was no longer yelling about Sasuke. "Hey Sakura-san, why are you not screaming about Sasuke?" Teme asked him. "Well, my mom and I have been training and my mom always get your priorities straight. I still want to go out with Sasuke-kun, he's not here, I want him to be but he's not. My teammates are my priority, not a man who's not here," she said. With a sick sense of humor, he said, "Well, if you act more like that, you're less likely to have your head removed," allowing a furious Sakura to enjoy her rage. A banner stating, quote, "Your new super sexy sensei Matriyoshi Anko," was displayed by their sensei after a while. While the other 2 appeared too stunned to speak, Naruto simply palmed his face. As the banner burned up, she began, "Okay, you Gakis. I've been told I have to ask you what your mojo is, so tell me your name, hobbies, and things you like and dislike." Sakura remarked, "Oh, I see, could you give us an example?" Pissing Sakura off, Anko said, "Sure ya bitch. My name's Matriyoshi Anko. My hobbies are eating dango and comparing them to dango. I hate the time to reheat dango and my former sensei. My likes are training, torturing people, and maiming enemies. My goals are, I don't know," she said, not really mentioning the last part. "Now you're go Pinky." "Alright, my name is Haruno Sakura. I enjoy training with my mother, I detest rude people, and I like." She then cast an angry glance at the ground. She perked up and said, "And my goals are to make my ma proud." She pointed to Hinata and said, "Okay, now it's your time, Bluehead." She paused and blushed, glancing at Naruto, who appeared to blush slightly. "My name is Hinata Hyuga. My hobbies are training with Naruto-kun and making cinnamon buns. I hate my clan for disowning me and banning me, I like. My goals are to show my clan wrong about banning me," she stated. "Alright, Redhead, you're up," she said, pointing to Naruto, after thinking, "Poor kid, she's been through a lot from what I've heard. Right, my name is Uzumaki Naruto. My hobbies are hanging out with Hinata, eating ramen and comparing flavors. I hate arrogant pricks, useless people, demon hunters and some other stuff. I like Hinata. Chan." Gaining a bit of a blush. "My goals are to become strong but not arrogant," he said with arrogance. Before Sakura could say anything more, Anko interrupted her. "Wait, demon hunters, why would a human hate demon hunters? Alright team, meet with me at training ground 7. I would use 44 but with the Chunin exams in 3 months we're not allowed to give people an advantage." Ground 7 for training. Anko shushed off with the others, saying, "You have 45 minutes to get these bells or you back to the academy." While Sakura vanished into herself, Naruto and Hinata remained together. Naruto spoke as he turned to face Hinata. Naruto said, drawing Hinata back a little, "We need to find Sakura, we need to work as a team." "I thought you hated Sakura." Hinata nodded as they vanished, and Naruto remarked, "I do. But I owe her mother a lot, and if she dies I'll be upset." Sakura saw them again behind her. Naruto whispered, "Sakura." Sakura asked, "What is it, Gaki?" and then Naruto threw a kunai at Sakura. As she leapt out into the training area, Anko then materialized in a puff of smoke. As Hinata watched Naruto attack Anko, she muttered, "She was Anko?" The house-sized fireball that Naruto threw at Anko in Kaden Fireball Jutsu vanished and then reappeared behind him. However, when she attacked, Naruto vanished into a cloud of smoke. Then, with his shadow clones behind her, Naruto reappeared and started to lay down his attack. Anko engaged in combat with Naruto's taijutsu. As they assumed a taijutsu stance, Anko had to pull away from Naruto. Anko assumed the anaconda stance, while Naruto assumed the yokai stance. When he assumed this position, Anko's eyes took notice. As they both rused in for battle, Anko pondered, maybe the Kyuubi taught him that taijutsu stance, which only demons know. Hinata, meanwhile, went in search of Sakura. The Hyuga eventually located the Haruno who was mumbling about Sasuke incoherently. Before using Kai to free Sakura, Hinata reflected, trapped in a genjutsu, a rather powerful one as well. It's not one someone should use on a genin. Looks like it replicates death of a loved one multiple times. The Haruno exclaimed out loud, "Where am I?" "Up here," said Hinata. "We should find Naruto-kun, he's probably up fighting Anko. Sensei." Sakura insisted, "Why should I listen to you?" Sakura Hinata thought, "Obviously," she said, "because you've been caught in a genjutsu for 4 minutes and you haven't released it once." Sakura said, "Oh, and let's go. Right?" They both nodded before vanishing and resurfacing in the combat gear that Anko and Naruto were wearing. Anko and Naruto were engaged in a taijutsu battle. The woman killed the snakes with a kunai, and he blocked and returned numerous blows. Naruto considered using his sword, but decided against it since it would cause his demon chakra to leak. Instead, he moved away from Anko and used some hand signals to form a ball of chakra before launching himself at the woman. Naruto yelled, "Rasengan," and slammed the ball into Anko, but he turned into a log after one poof. Naruto swore in his own voice. After making a dozen clones, the boy dashed in the direction of the real Anko, who had vanished behind him. Anko struggled to keep up with each of their attacks, but he was still able to defeat them all. She was unaware of the 50 shadow clones with big Rasengan on either side of her. They vanished before Naruto could strike her, and the Rasengans struck one another, causing a tremendous chakra explosion that leveled the training area as Naruto avoided the collision. Then, as he watched the lake's water seep into the enormous crater he had created, Naruto leapt up onto a tree. After reassembling with Hinata, Naruto vanished and pursued her with the Hiraishin tag he had applied to her prior to the battle. Hinata uttered the words, "Naruto-kun," as Naruto materialized at her side, grinning and nodding. "I think I have a plan." In search of the Gaki who had injured her, Dango-kun, Anko ran through the forest. If you looked closely, you could see that her coat's bottom was covered in dango sauce. She uttered the words, "He destroyed Dango-kun with that filthy jutsu," in a somewhat demonic voice. She was suddenly hit by a torrent of senbon and kunai. As she escaped, Hinata, Naruto, and Sakura attacked her. Sakura used a stance she had never seen before, Hinata used a soft fist, and Naruto used the Tsubaki stance. Naruto destroyed Anko's numerous clones with wind-style, palm gale. Sakura made some hand gestures as Naruto continued to attack Hinata. Her self-inflicted cut gradually transformed into a sword. Hinata electrified the blade with her lightning-style chakra while Naruto used his taijutsu against Anko. As Naruto created a water wave that resulted in a pool of water, Sakura and Hinata launched themselves in Anko's direction. When Anko saw the attack coming, she used her chakra to jump onto the water and avoid it. However, Sakura and Hinata showed up and used electricity to blast the ground. Anko was distracted by blasting herself sky high like a team rocket when the electricity fried her, and then she crashed down. They were able to obtain the bells because the impact buried her entire torso. Anko grinned as he emerged from the hole, smirking foolishly. Naruto returned the smile with a grin of his own. Naruto remarked, "Guess we win, sensei?" She answered, "I goose you did Gaki?" Anko screamed at Sarutobi, "No, I want a real mission, and I want to put my team in combat situations instead of painting fences." "Ga," Sarutobi said. "Fine, take this sea mission nobody will take, so here, take the client. Tazuna to the land of waves, he's worried about bandits, just take care of him." The other three began to perspire as Naruto exclaimed, "All right, maybe I can finally get my murder boner on." Naruto walked out of the room clumsily. The others simply started laughing. Naruto said, "All right, let's go," pointing to the forest that encircles Konohagakure. Tazuna complained. Sheesh, the boy is talking too loudly. Shut up, I'm having a hangover, Tazuna yelled, causing the boy to pout while his sensei continued to reprimand him. After 4 hours, as they got closer to 2 puddles on the road, Naruto observed. The demon boy nodded to Hinata while muttering to himself. The demon brothers caught Anko as they got close and tore him to pieces. A Jonin would be difficult to defeat, Naruto smiled. Throwing that aside, he attacked, using a kunai to smash the 2 away and embed the chain they were wearing in the tree. When Naruto saw Hinata charging a Rasengan, yes, she is capable of using it, and launching it at the brother on the left, he smiled. Naruto walked over to the right brother and smiled. Naruto smiled while performing a one-handed tiger seal. So you call yourself a demon? Want to see a real one? The man screamed out loud from the powerful genjutsu. He could be a demon, Sakura thought. Okay, I give Gato of Gato idustries bot or survices same as Zabuza Momochi. He wanted the Bidge builder dead. The screams of the demon brother. Naruto shouted back, why? The man said, I dunno, please just stop it. Naruto smiled as he boosted the genjutsu's power. No, stop please. The man pleaded until the mother lost her mind, at which point Naruto killed him with a swish of his kunai. He saw Anko next to him. Anko remarked, damn man, that was your first kill. Naruto's tone was slightly eerie as he said, no, it wasn't my first. Hinata's words, Naruto-kun, roused him from his waning bloodlust. God, sometimes his demon side gets the better of him. She reasoned that Naruto couldn't be a demon because she could sense that demon chakra. Anko was shocked but refrained from probing further so as not to trigger any unpleasant or unknown memories. Rather, the woman simply turned to Tazuna and shrugged. She questioned, why was he after you? Before speaking, Tazuna groaned in frustration. The people of the Land of Waves are a poor and desperate one. Gato of Gato Industries made sure that he came over and began to rule it with an iron fist. Even the daimyo had to bend over as the man fucked the down over many times. I am a bridge builder, you see, and I am working on a bridge that will connect the island to the main land. He stated, if that happened then everyone can tell the world what's it like there and Gato would be ruined, explained him. Naruto smiled. Naruto grinned and said, yes, great, now let's go kick some Chunin ass. Making Naruto pout, Hinata remarked, Naruto-kun, we don't even know if we can continue the mission. Don't pout Gaki, turns out this particular Jonin just got a murder boner from the bloodshed, so we're gonna move on, she said with a grin. Sakura was shocked by Naruto's bloodlust and her lack of knowledge about him, but Hinata grinned at his joy. Yai, Naruto exclaimed. X the base of Zabuza questioned, so they failed Haku? Yes, Zabuza. Sama the demon brothers were defeated by a genin. I was able to pick up that his name was Naruto, Haku replied. Good Haku, thank you for telling me, he replied. I guess we're gonna have to be next Haku? Remember to stay in the shadows. The demon brothers were Chunin defeated by a genin. The boy might be a genius, so we should be careful, he stated. Yes, Zabuza. Sama, when Zabuza aimed his sword at the obese pig, Gato's cries of, yeah you better kill him, were cut off. Be quiet or face my wrath. I am here for the money. If you don't pay me I'll kill you. Gato snorted, said, only if you do the job, and he and his samurai henchmen left. Why do we have to work for him, Zabuza? Sama asked Haku. Zabuza left a slightly irritated Haku to pick some flowers after saying, he pays the bills, Nuff said. As the mist rolled in, Naruto and the other members of Team 7 strolled through the forest. When Naruto saw, he was ready to strike. Zabuza launched his ki at them and smiled. So this is the Anko Matriarchy, the Serpent Queen of Konoha, Zabuza said aloud. And what do we have here? A boy from the Uzumaki clan. Uzumaki clan? Sakura and Anko pondered. Show yourself, demon of the hidden mist, Naruto said. I can sense your demon shroud ability. While Naruto laughed, Zabuza said, interesting, you can sense my unique demon chakra when I'm not using it. Only special sensor types can do that. Zabuza's eyes widened as he said, I'm not a sensor type. Zabuza thought, if this boy isn't a dedicated sensor type and can sense my demon chakra, then he is truly a genius. This is going to be risky. There will be a genius and a jonin. I need to eliminate the genins quickly because they are too predictable, and one of them appears to be Hyuga. Zabuza thought, yes, that could work, I will use that, as if his day could get any worse. He then tried to put ki on the genin using a jutsu. With Anko, he removed numerous explosive tags from kunai and threw them between Hinata, Sakura, Tazuna, and Naruto. They avoided getting in their way. After that, Zabuza called forth water clones to pursue Sakura and Hinata. The clones advanced on Hinata, who sidestepped their blows and retaliated with lightning fast dabs from her soft fist. Sakura used the kenjutsu she had learned from her mother to battle the Zabuza. Despite her inexperience, the water clones had the drawback of being slower when they were farther away from the user. One Zabuza clone used the scattered water to create a water dragon, killing the majority of the clones. Before the old man was ingested by the dragon, Sakura Rugby tackled him. In a jutsu fight with Zabuza, Anko and Naruto are dressed in meanwool. With a shout, Zabuza produced a lot of needles from the puddles, saying, "Water style. Kiri Jutsu Nidarushiraya, water release. Mist Needle Slayer Jutsu." In order to shield himself and Anko from the needles, Naruto screamed, "Hago no Chiyo no Domu." Earth release. Earthly dome of protection, and caused an earthly dome to form. As needles flew toward the dome, Naruto screamed, "Hanzai no Chiyo no Domu." Earth release earthly dome of offense. As the dome fell away, Anko smiled and launched her assault. As she released a scatter blast of snake from her mouth, Anko uttered the words, "Hebiboruto Bursuto." Jutsu, Snake Bolt Blast Jutsu. As Zabuza ducked them, Naruto's attention was drawn back to him, and he appeared somewhat shaken. As Zabuza created not 1, 2, 3, but 4 water dragons, he remarked, "You're pushing me, girl, so I guess I better use this." The water flooded everywhere as the 4 blasted their way toward Anko. Hinata and the others grabbed Tazuna and leapt into the trees to avoid the flood as it pushed its way toward them. As Naruto sealed it up in a scroll, the tiny lake that had just formed vanished. With that stunt, Zabuza's chakra was nearly non-existent. Just when Naruto was about to kill, 2 Senbon stabbed Zabuza in the neck. After that, a hunter ninja appeared. Naruto nodded, and the ninja vanished with Zabuza. The base of Zabuza said, "Ga, what happened?" and stood up. "You lost your rag with a genin and used up all your chakra. I had to intervene to stop you from dying," Haku said. "God Haku, you're a sadist," Zabuza remarked while massaging his neck. While Zabuza merely muttered something about heartless little girls, Haku joked, "I try to go get some flowers." Haku went out. Everyone was asleep when Naruto woke them up, so he made the decision to go for a walk. When he finally entered a meadow and noticed a young girl his age picking flowers, he made the decision to speak with her. "You know those plants are filled with poisons," he said. When Haku looked up, she recognized the boy as the one Zabuza had also lost. "I know," she said. "Well, why would a pretty thing like you want something like that, Hunter-san?" replied Naruto. She inquired, "How did you recognize me?" "Well, it does help when you're the only ninja that isn't on my team for miles," said Naruto. "Yes," she said as she stood up. "So, genin, what is your name?" she asked. As the girl gasped, Naruto uttered, "I'm Uzumaki Naruto, but some people call me Otsutsuki Samsara." This girl, who was a Yuki, Anna, or Snow Fairy, you know, like Mizor from Rosario Vampire, was a demon, and Naruto smiled inwardly, sensing the demon chakra within her. "See ya Hunter-san," he said, vanishing into a leaf whirlpool. Haku said out loud to herself, "Samsara. Sama, could you really be him?" At least 2 days had passed since their return. When Tazuna arrived, Inari and Tsunami gave him a warm welcome. Tsunami was pleased and expressed gratitude to the Konoha ninjas, but Naruto was bothered by this little scoundrel named Inari. He was annoyed by the child's obnoxious remarks about his suffering. Even though Naruto hadn't been beaten up in years, it didn't help. Both Kushina and Hinata are aware of the psychological harm the boy suffered as a result of his night terrors. While Inari was unaware of true pain, Naruto was. For the longest period, Naruto had no mother and no father. Naruto's mind was distorted by the abuse and beatings he received, and Hinata was the only thing keeping him from fully turning into a demon. While some demons desired peace and coexistence, Naruto was a bloodthirsty demon at heart. Most demons, especially Benihime, craved destruction. If it weren't for Hinata, Naruto would lose it and turn into his sister, destroying villages and killing people while leading armies of demons into battle against his mother's rival. Surprisingly, Kushina respected Naruto's need to live in harmony with Hinata but wanted him to be bloodthirsty. Naruto, being the demon prince he was, would kill the culprit without hesitation if Hinata died. A demon queen and his sister, who was the 9 tails of all people, reared him after all. Since Inari lacked the characteristics of a boy who was familiar with suffering, such as being insane, broken, bloodthirsty, or vindictive, he was unaware of any suffering. He always had a house, a mother, a grandfather, and other family members. Up until the age of 6, Naruto had no family or loved ones. After that, he had only experienced pain. Naruto then lost his temper when Inari spoke at the dinner table. As soon as the chopsticks in Naruto's hands broke, Inari yelled at him at the dinner table, "You don't know my suffering." As soon as Naruto stood up and looked at Inari, he unleashed his killer intent on the boy, shocking everyone with his evil. "Tell me, child, do you know what it's like to be stabbed, cut, sliced, burned, shot, kicked, punched, and hit with a club all at once?" Naruto began, "I don't know suffering him. I'm sure I know more suffering than you," he said, his eyes turning purple and slitted. Inari shook his head. "Do you know what it's like to be denied everything from you, to be hurt and stabbed, to be hated for something that wasn't your fault?" Inari shook his head once more. "Do you know what it's like to be the son of a great hero yet still be treated like dirt?" he asked, his words dripping with utter venom. "To hate your own existence, to want to kill, to have to kill for your own protection." Inari was terrified. "Do you know what it's like to have no home? Do you know what it's like to live of cat flesh and sewer water?" he said, with some of them looking shocked and disgusted. "Until you know what that's like, you don't know true pain, true suffering, or true loneliness," he said, throwing one of the chopsticks to Inari. Wind chakra through them, slicing through numerous trees before a splash could be heard as it landed in a river. The only people who could see the tears streaming down Naruto's cheeks were Hinata and Inari. The words, "Grow up Inari, stop wallowing in your hate, stand up on your feet and grow up, become strong and protect those you care about instead of yourself," were spoken by Naruto as he got closer to the door and before he left. After an hour, Hinata shocked Naruto by saying, "What the hell was that? What, am I not enough for Naruto? After all this time you're still clinging to those memories?" "Hinata, I am sorry, it's just God, they're still there. Every time I go to sleep I still see them, I feel the pain, there isn't a part of my body they haven't stabbed," Naruto replied. "Naruto-kun, I am here for you, but maybe you should take your own advice. You're wallowing in this hate alone, but you don't have to, I can be there for you," said Hinata. Hinata. "Chan," began Naruto. I am sorry, it's just they're always there and it feel like they happened yesterday. Sometime the line between the reality and the nightmare are split and I forget," he replied. "Naruto-kun," Hinata said, putting her chin on his shoulder and embracing him from behind. "I'm always here, never forget that." "And so am I, kawaii, good morning." When Anko awoke first and saw Naruto and Hinata cuddling while they slept, she burst out laughing. "To me, it smells like a teenage romance," Anko jokingly said. Anko's agitation caused Sakura to get up next. Sakura asked, "What's up?" before addressing the other two genin. Sakura blushed slightly in jealousy but stopped herself. Who knew they were together? Sakura thought as she walked away. When Naruto and Hinata finally awoke, they grinned and blushed a little as they stood up. "Hey Hinata, I just released something. What's that, Naruto-kun?" Naruto said. If Sakura and Anko left first, then they saw us, and Hinata collapsed. She eventually woke up. According to Naruto, Hinata-chan they probably didn't see, as they made their way to the living room. Anko spoke as he entered. Anko exclaimed, "What's up, love birds?" And both of them passed out, blushing. "Haku, are you ready?" "Yes, but I must warn you, one of them is a demon." "Don't be stupid, Haku, demons aren't real, the only demon to exist is me and my title," said Zabuza. "How wrong you are, Zabuza sama," Haku remarked. "So you're saying that Zabuza's still out there," said Anko. According to Naruto, "Yeah, damn it," Anko uttered. "What, I thought you liked fighting." "Yeah, but your teammates are useless against a Jonin." "No problem, Hinata's high Chunin, so she got Sakura covered, speaking of which had trained with her mother plus I." Both said, "Wanted to get my murder boner on," at the same time, which made Naruto laugh. Anko remarked, "Well, I better tell the others." The bridge as Naruto, Hinata, Sakura, Anko, and Tazuna became aware of the approaching mist, it began to roll in. With stealth, Zabuza took no chances and slipped up behind the genin who adopted the Munji formation. Zabuza was about to strike, but Naruto stopped him by opening his sword. The katana that Naruto wielded had a red blade, a black guard and hilt, and the kanji for Shinju. Zabuza exclaimed, "That sword is the Crimson Death of Konoha's sword." When Zabuza looked closely at the genie's face, he began to perspire. That was her son. "That sword is Kushina Sama's sword. How is it that Naruto has it?" Sakura pondered. "Boy, that sword, how do you have it? That sword is the blade of the Crimson Death, Kushina Uzumaki," said Zabuza. Kushina Uzumaki? However, Sakura believed that Kushina's second name was Otsutsuki. Glancing at Sakura, he said, "My sword I knew that would raise a few eyebrows." This sword is my mother's and grandmother's. His words caused Sakura's and Zabuza's eyes to widen. Zabuza broke off the altercation and made space for them. So you're the son of the Crimson Death? Zabuza said. I would put you in my bingo book but you'll be dead. His mom's? Kushina. Sama's sword is impossible, Sakura pondered. Naruto said, so then Zabuza Momochi, let's see if you're Roth the title of a demon. Red electricity poured through the blade as Naruto cut downward, sending a burst of red electricity in Zabuza's direction. Zabuza avoided it and proceeded with a few hand signals. Zabuza said, boom, he even knows the special power of the blade, but can he use his mother's chain? If so, I'm fucked. Then, after pursuing him, Naruto spoke. Naruto shouted after Zabuza, stick with Tazuna, and I'll beat this motherfucker's ass. Zabuza used his sword to block several slashes that Naruto took. Naruto made a lot of shadow clones, but Zabuza made a lot of water clones. Each of them took out an exploding tag, and as they ran to confront the Zabuza clones, they exploded. Naruto used the smoke and the pre-existing mist to conceal himself as the explosion sent shrapnel everywhere. Naruto unleashed a series of thunderous blasts and charged up an attack with his red lightning. Knowing that his water shield would fail, Zabuza made one and avoided the attack. Then Enko showed up before Naruto. The moment Enko said, Naruto leave, I'll deal with him. Hinata's in trouble with that hunter.nin. Naruto teleported to her side using his Hiraishin seal. When he noticed Hinata heavily bleeding, Naruto turned to face her and applied a medical seal. Naruto snarled, you're going to pay girl, Haku said, I'm sorry, Samsara, Sama. Naruto gazed at Haku in anger as red chakra spiraled. Haku was so furious that he was terrified and unsure of what to do. Should she fight for Zabuza or give herself up to Naruto? Despite everything he gave her, Naruto was her blooded Shinju master. Her focus wavered, and the ice mirrors broke. Sakura, meanwhile, was alarmed by the yokai's emission. What is this power? Sakura asked herself. Am I correct in thinking that Naruto is a demon? No, he cannot be because he has never been bloodthirsty, and the majority of peaceful demons reside in the demon realm. Samsada. Sama I surrender I am sorry. As he threw himself at Haku, Naruto yelled, that's not good enough, you took away my Hinata. Chan, she was everything to me, you took her away, you bitch. She punched her mask off and collapsed to the ground, accepting her fate. Naruto's anger poured out of him as he gazed down at the unconscious Haku. In order to heal Hinata while her demonic chakra healed her, he turned to face her, who was sleeping and breathing heavily. His medical seal was seeped with medical chakra. Before her, Naruto knelt. Hi, Samsara.kun. He said, yeah, Benihime, Nachan. I can channel your demonic chakra to put a seal on her and help you heal her. Bite down on her neck, she said. Benihime remained silent as a circle appeared inside a Fuma shuriken and the kanji for Shinju's lover appeared on her neck as soon as Hinata woke up. This better not be one of your mate things again, I'm too young for that, he said, biting down. Damn it, Benihime. What makes you two a cute couple? Benihime laughed. Mumbling, N. Naruto.kun. Hinata. Naruto said, H. Hinata. Chan, are you okay? Yeah, all I remember is fighting that hunter.nin and then nothing, said Hinata. Hinata's eyes widened as Naruto hugged her and said, oh Hinata. Chan, I thought you were going to die. I was scared, I don't want to ever lose you. When you looked dead I snapped. I didn't mean to, but I became bloodthirsty like Oka.san and Nachan. Does he really care about me? Am I really the border that prevents him from snapping? Hinata asked herself. If I am, I have to get stronger. Kushina.san taught me how to use my demon powers and taught me how to use them to protect Naruto.kun and myself. Hinata went on, Naruto, I will never die, I will always be by your side. Naruto grinned and they gave each other a warm embrace. Enko had conversed with Zabuza in the interim. The demon of the mist was poisoned by her snakes and was gradually slowing down. At this point, Zabuza's chakra was being depleted, making it impossible for him to defeat Enko. He was unable to use chakra because the poison prevented it from being molded and would destroy it if he tried. For want of a better term, Zabuza was fucked. Enko smiled as she pushed her forward and released numerous snakes from her sleeves while making a few hand gestures. The snakes parted their jaws and launched a hail of kunai at Zabuza, ensnaring themselves in him. Zabuza was bleeding, and as his blood and chakra left him, he could only stagger. Then he dropped to his knees on the floor. Gato, who appeared with two samurai, Inari and Tsunami, said, well, is this all the demon of the mist has to offer? Couldn't even kill a few shinobi. Thankfully, we have some hostages for these brats. Enko screamed, Let them go. But the two samurais' necks abruptly spurted and each fell to the ground. What the? Exclaimed Gato. Silent killing technique. Carving knife slicer. The Gato is my specialty. The fact you forgot that makes you pathetically stupid. Now where to strike? Throat, spine, jugular vein. Head, so many choices. Zabuza laughed, letting Gato have his key. Gato remarked, Men attack him. Attack who? You can't even see me, this mist is so thick, and with who? To me, Gato, all your men look pretty dead. Gato exclaimed, Wah. What? Before he turned around and discovered all of his men dead. Impossible, this must be one of those illusion things, Gato replied. Believe me, Gato. This isn't a trick or anything, Zabuza exclaimed as blood spurted from Gato's abdomen. He watched as Zabuza's sword gutted him like a fish as he looked down. He yelled, Have fun in hell, and tore it from Gato. Matriarchy Anko, take my sword, give it to that Uzumaki kid. I know he already has a sword, but maybe this sword could be used for better purposes if it fell to his hands, Zabuza responded. And if Haku is alive, please don't kill him, no matter what, don't kill him. Take him to Konoha, he said while on his knees beginning crying. Was I always a demon or was forgetting that was human? I haven't been that in a long time, Zabuza said in his final moments. Before the woman left, Anko approached and grabbed his sword. Sakura is using her vampire blade to protect Tazuna from water clones in the meantime. All of the clones widened their eyes and then exploded. Sakura uttered the words, What the? Before the smoke subsided. Sakura noticed Naruto clutching Hinata's bridal gown. Seeing that something was bothering the boy, Sakura asked surprisingly politely, Naruto, what happened? Hinata. Chan got hurt by that ice user. I didn't kill her despite my better judgment, but Zabuza's dead, so she won't be threat to us. Plus, Naruto took a breath. Sakura inquired, plus what? Naruto looked down at Hinata and said, Don't worry, it doesn't matter. Naruto blushed and laughed nervously as the young girl clung to him while she slept. When Sakura noticed a maid seal around Hinata's neck, her eyes widened, but Naruto vanished before she could ask. No way, he must be a demon, a maid seal, the yokai. On the other hand, Hinata might be seeing another demon, but I know her, she has had a crush on him for years and wouldn't mess it up, would she? Sakura pondered. Sakura, where did Naruto and Hinata go? Said Anko. They went back to Tazana's house. K, was Anko's response as she walked back while carrying Haku on her shoulder. After placing Hinata on her bed, Naruto gave her a hug and made a chair out of nothing using a flash of purple fire. Naruto sat there sobbing, praying that Hinata would live, but she was barely hanging on. The young girl was panting as her body healed from the wounds that had been punched in several places with senbons. Naruto? As she walked into the room, Sakura inquired. Yeah, he said, keeping his eyes fixed on Hinata. Are you alright? Sakura questioned the demon prince in secret. Yes, but Hinata. Chan's not this is bad, I won't rest till she's better. Naruto-san, I don't mean to bother you, but tell me about Hinata. Everyone knew you and Hinata were childhood friends, and you were always together. However, based on your behavior on the bridge, what is she to you? Sakura asked, and Naruto remained silent. Naruto declared, Hinata. Chan is my girlfriend in my eyes. I knew. Sakura pointed to him and remarked, I knew you two were together. Sakura, I know you and Ino will tell your gossip girls and soon everyone will know, including her father, Naruto said, causing her to instantly calm down and appear afraid. Why? Is her father unaware of this? Yes, but when I told him I gave him a death threat and had my sword till his throat. Don't fathers treat their boyfriends like that? Sakura. I'm serious, Hinata isn't. Never mind, the fact of the matter is that Hinata was banned from her clan and I'm the only one stopping them from either killing her or slapping one of those wretched cage bird seals on her. Naruto snapped again, his tone growing more aggressive and mature than his usual prankster voice. This time, however, Naruto was displaying his maturity by stifling Sakura with waves of killer intent. He really values you, Hinata, Sakura thought, feeling a little envious. On their third day of healing, Naruto ate his cereal at the table while Tsunami watched, not wanting to miss as much of Naruto as possible. Anko then came over and sat next to him, which was a huge surprise because Naruto hadn't left Hinata's room in 2 days while she was healing. Then Gaki. How is Hinata doing? Anko inquired. Hinata. Chan is improving. I believe she will be well in another day. Anko nodded as Naruto remarked, I've been healing her with a healing seal. I need to help out because I'm the proctor for the second part of the Chunin exams, so I need to get back soon, Anko said, and Naruto nodded. Speaking of which, Naruto give these to Sakura and Hinata when they wake up, she said, passing him a set of documents, which Naruto examined. I think you're ready. Same with Hinata, and surprised that Sakura was able to fight off 4 clones of Zabuza, she said. Doesn't surprise me, the Haruno family used to be a clan, so the fact that Sakura knew jutsu and the Blossom Kenjutsu dance doesn't surprise me, said Naruto. How did you? Sakura's mom informed me. Sakura and I are not close, but her mother took care of my back. She was among the few people who didn't despise me because I had a tenant. Even though they weren't from her clan, she gave me enough scrolls on Kenjutsu techniques to help me battle civilians, Naruto remarked. Is that why you said you killed before? As Tsunami eyed the boy, Naruto replied, yeah. Why him? I can tell he's been thrown so much, she thought. Naruto nodded and returned to the room, where he glanced at Hinata before falling asleep in the rucksack beside her. Anyway, Gaki, you should get some rest. Anko said, Sakura told me you haven't slept since we got back, and you're going to need to rest just in case we fight against some enemy ninja. Hinata had woken up that day, but Naruto insisted that she not walk because she was still healing. At first, Hinata objected, but as soon as she realized she could cuddle close to Naruto, she gave in. Naruto picked her up in bridal style, and when they got home, he asked his mother if she could heal her, to which Kushina readily obliged. Kushina inquired, so, how was your mission, honey? It was all right. Before that final encounter with Zabuza Momochi, everything was going smoothly, Naruto remarked. Zabuza Momochi. I let him live because he wasn't worth my time after we had a very strong fight, she said. So did you kill him? No, Anko. Sensei did that for me, but I did beat the shit out of his accomplice. Oh, who was that? Hikuyuki. I didn't kill her because she was a snow fairy, but after I told her who I was, she seemed to lose it. I haven't spoken to her yet, but she returned to the village with the possibility of becoming a Konoha shinobi and joining a team, Naruto remarked. What kept you from killing him? She injured Hinata, Kushina inquired. I almost did. I unleashed my red chakra on her that seemed to scare shit out of her or at least subdue her. You used your demon powers, you must have been pissed, said Kushina. Yeah, I just hope Hinata-chan gets better, said Naruto. Naruto.kun. As she walked into the living room, Hinata said. Hinata-chan? Naruto cried out, rushing to embrace her, and Hinata gave him a feeble smile before they sat down on the couch. With her head resting on his chest, Hinata grinned slowly, and both of them dozed off while Kushina went to unpack their belongings. After 2 days, Hinata was completely recovered, and Team 7 was back on their feet. Naruto, Hinata, and Sakura went to see Anko, where they discovered Anko with Hiku. Hi, Hiku, Sakura called, and Hiku came over to greet her with a smile. Naruto remarked, so I see you've become friends. Sakura's face took on an odd expression as Hiku said, indeed Naruto-sama. Naruto. Sama? Sakura inquired, and Naruto drew Hiku away right away. Naruto said, frighteningly close to Hiku, Hiku, don't call me Naruto. Sama in front of Sakura, she doesn't know I'm the Shinju and I'm not even aware if she even knows that she's a vampire. Hiku nodded and looked down, but she blushed a little when she saw how close they were. Front and center Hiku eyes. As far as anyone is concerned, my mother is dead, Hiku nodded, and Naruto snapped. Hiku uttered the words, Hi Samsara. Sama, as they went back to their team. What was the purpose of that? Sakura inquired. Getting something straight. Hiku persisted that I'll be her new master since Zabuza died, said Naruto. Anko unlocked Zabuza's sword and threw it to Naruto, saying, speaking of which, take this. Hiku gasped, but he smiled to himself knowing that Naruto was wielding the weapon. Naruto caught the blade and smirked, putting it on his back. Naruto smiled, knowing that this would be his third sword. The first was his mother's sword, Ketsujin, also known as Bloodblade. The second was his transforming blade, Hatoida, also called Heart Eater, which could transform into a scythe, sword, and shuriken. So then Anko. Sensei, why are we here and why is Hiku-san here as well? Naruto inquired. To see if you want to be in the Chunin exams. Sakura, Hinata, and Naruto all said. Sure, as he handed the document back to her. Hiku will be our 4th member, but she is unable to take the test because the Hokage hasn't fully integrated her into the ninja ranks. Hiku is assisting in getting ready for them because he knows that the amount of paperwork he must complete will take some time. Naruto said, I see. Anyway, see you next time on A World of Demons, said Anko. Team 7 and Hiku shouted, Anko. Sensei, don't break the 4th wall. Samsara Otsutsuki, also known as Naruto Uzumaki, approached the door that led to the written exam hall for the Chunin exams. As Anko nodded, Naruto approached the door with his two teammates, Sakura and Hinata. The three went in front of everyone present. "Hey Naruto," was Shikamaru's bored voice. Naruto said, "Hey there. How are you doing?" "Not bad actually, I mean this is a total drag and all, but at least we get to be Chunin, if we live," Shikamaru replied. Shikamaru simply rolled his eyes as Naruto sarcastically remarked, "Well, you sound like you're exploding with confidence." Ino leapt onto Sasuke's back and squealed, "Sasuke-kun." Then, watching Sasuke complain, Naruto and Shikamaru laughed. "Hey Ino," Sakura said coolly. "Ha, I bet you want," Ino began, but Sakura cut her off, shocking her. Sakura's unexpected statement, "Actually I couldn't give a damn," surprised the recently arrived Ino, Shikamaru, Hinata, and Choji. "Are really?" inquired Ino. "Yeah, I mean what's the point of attaching yourself to somebody who doesn't want it anyway, like a bitch in heat?" Sakura replied. "Come on Ino, wake up." Smiling. In all honesty, Ino was the happiest girl on the planet. She kept blaming herself for Sakura's obsession with the Uchiha, which caused them to part ways. Sakura no longer gave a damn about Sasuke. Grinning, Ino stood up. With a, I guess so, tone, Ino. "Guys, this is touching and all, but everyone else here is getting pissed off," Naruto stated. "Indeed," was said by a voice behind. "Who are you?" inquired Naruto. Kabuto declared, "My name is Kabuto." "Oh," was Naruto's direct response. "Anyway, you guys should quiet down like, Naruto." Naruto said. Kiba joined Sasuke in saying, "Yeah, and who are you to tell us that?" As Sasuke stepped forward, Kabuto said, "Well, if you keep on yelling, you're going to be on everyone's to kill list. Thank goodness I have my ninja info cards for you guys to know what up against," he said with a smile. "So who do you want to know about?" "Naruto Uzumaki, Gaara of the Desert, Rock Lee, and Hinata Hyuga," he said, leaving everyone perplexed as to why he would be interested in learning about either Naruto or the deceased Rock Lee. Kiba and Shino observed the brief altercation Sasuke had with Gaara, and Hinata was understandable. As he spun the cards, he said, "Okay, ninjutsu, S plus taijutsu, a genjutsu, F fuinjutsu, S kenjutsu, S plus Naruto Uzumaki." Notable elements. Naruto Uzumaki has made amazing jutsu progress. Began as a genin with a low score in genjutsu and a respectable grade in taijutsu and ninjutsu. From his C ranks in ninjutsu and taijutsu, Naruto has advanced to S plus and A ranks. Like all members of the Uzumaki clan, Naruto naturally became very knowledgeable about kenjutsu and fuinjutsu, but his mastery of both techniques is exceptional by Uzumaki standards, making him a true master of both arts. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage. The words, "Wait Naruto, you have a clan?" were spoken by Shikamaru. "Yeah, they were masters in fuinjutsu and kenjutsu. They were related to the Senju clan, you know those spirals on the Chunin jackets." "Yeah." Everyone in the area gave Naruto a startled look when he said, "That's our clan symbol." He went on, "We helped build Konoha and placed defense and offensive seals on the walls that surround Konoha. The process of the construction eventually resulted in the second ninja village Uzushiogakure." Ino questioned, "Then why haven't we heard of them?" "Well, one, the clan's almost dead Uzushio during the Second Shinobi War was destroyed by Kumo and Iwa. Most of the clan that survived went into hiding, going to more unknown villages like Aim and Yami. Some went to villages like Suna and Konoha like my mother. 2 is because this village bends over backwards for the Uchiha so much, that's all we learn about in history except for the lessons we have on the 4 noble clans and village relations." Naruto said, causing Sasuke to let out a Naruto grinned and said, "Got a problem, Sasuke-chan. How dare you insult the Uchiha clan?" Everyone gave Naruto shocked looks as he said, "Oh Sasuke, you poor thing. You used to be such nice young boy. I wonder what your mother thinks, seeing as my mother was best friends with yours." Sasuke's words, "Shut up you red-haired asshole," caused Naruto's forehead to throb with conceit. As everyone listened, Kabuto said, "I don't mean to interrupt, but I have the next card ready." He spun the card, and I watched. Ninjutsu. A taijutsu. A genjutsu. See Gaara of the Desert. Important details. Gaara is the Kage's son. May be able to use his will or mind to manipulate sand. Sand manipulation. Naruto thought, this kid is a sand tamaki. Sasuke sarcastically remarked, "Well, that gave us a lot of information. Go on to the next one," Sasuke insisted. Taijutsu. S plus genjutsu. F Rock Lee. Ninjutsu. F notable aspects. Rock Lee is not proficient in either genjutsu or ninjutsu, but he excels at taijutsu, which enables him to become even more worthy of the Jonin. He adheres to the idealism of the power of youth, division of the will of fire, which should serve as a warning to all of his opponents. Consequently, he never gave up. The third Hokage. Interesting, was Naruto's outburst. What? Yelled Sasuke. Naruto smiled and made a hand gesture, saying, I think you have a genjutsu over yourself here, let me help. Kiba and Naruto both started laughing as soon as two black eyes appeared on the Uchiha's face. Naruto laughed and said, you got beat up, Mr. Green Spandex. Kiba chuckled, yeah man, it was so funny. Naruto regained his composure and uttered, man, I wish I was there. Lee approached them with his team and said, I hear you talking of me. When Naruto saw him, he glared at Neji. Yeah, Kabuto is showing us your stats along with Hinata's. Naruto replied, he showed mine and Gaara of the deserts. Humph, let's see how the demon's grown since it was abandoned, Neji said. Sakura inquired inquisitively, what do you mean? But before Neji could reply, Naruto unleashed all of his killer intent. To the surprise of those around him, Naruto said menacingly, don't speak Hyuga. Neji, looking down as Kabuto swirled the card, finally realized that it might not be a good idea to protest to Naruto. Ninjutsu. A taijutsu. S plus genjutsu. B kenjutsu. B Hinata Hyuga. Notable factors. Hinata's courage and bravery increased significantly after she was exiled from the Hyuga clan for unknown reasons. However, she still occasionally experiences bloodlust and a sadistic state. Her dramatic experience after being expelled from her clan is most likely the cause of this. Fortunately, Naruto has intervened and offered to take her in at his house. Even though I'm concerned about what could happen, I know Naruto isn't that kind of person. Hinata appeared to be crushing on him as well. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage. Interesting, was how the recently arrived Gaara described something that Gaara noticed, sending a shiver down everyone's spine except Naruto. He wasn't afraid, huh? Yes, he will soon become my prayer, and his blood should be sweet for mother. Naruto recalled Gaara from the infocard's profile picture and remarked, so you must be Gaara. Yes, I am. And you are, he said. The statement, Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto, caused Gaara to react in shock. Gaara said suspiciously, Uzumaki huh? I'm glad to get to meet a fellow clan member other than my siblings, she added. Naruto and his group were standing in front of the gate to Training Ground 44. He was more interested in what Gaara was saying than in Enko's explanation of the rules, which didn't matter because he already knew them. The demon god was informed by the redhead that he belonged to the Uzumaki clan. This intrigued Naruto because, if he was a member of the Uzumaki clan, it meant that he was either a demon or a survivor. Because they were all the ancestors of demons, the Uzumaki clan is secretly the deadliest clan in existence. The Uzumaki's red hair was a blatant sign of a demonic presence within their bodies. Their unique chakra was a mutated form of yokai, and their vitality was derived from the immortality of most demons. In the past, the people of Uzushiogakure provided shelter to a variety of demons. Until Iwa and Kumo banded together and set Uzushio on fire. If Kushina hadn't been on a mission to destroy Yamagakure, such a feat should not have been possible. All of the local demons lost their immortality in the human world when the demon queen was not present, permitting their death. Kumo then destroyed Uzushio from the inside out using multiple explosives. Either Gaara was a demon or he was a survivor via his parents. Naruto was unaware that Gaara was actually both. As everyone leapt into the forest, prepared to become Chunin, Naruto watched. The blonde took command right away. Before giving it some thought, Naruto stated, well, the first thing we need to do is find a way to now wear who we say we are. Hinata remarked, how about saying a key phrase? Naruto replied, yeah. What should it be? For a brief moment, Naruto pondered, how about Hinata? Chan is the most beautiful thing in the world. Hinata passed out right away. Sakura caught Hinata and exclaimed, Naruto, why did you do that? When she wakes up we'll tell her the password is Kurosaki, said Naruto. Oh, all right, Sakura said. Hinata awoke 2 minutes later and stood up again. Then Naruto said something. As his demon blood kicked in for his hatred of the Uchiha, Naruto said, anyway, we should be careful. I sense a powerful force nearby. It feels like Anko, but it's not her. I also sense the power of that putrid Sharingan and I can smell the dog boy from over there. I say we check it out. As he caressed the weary Akamaru, Kiba inhaled sharply and gasped. Kiba thought, this AIM Nin isn't fucking around. As he sliced the back of Kiba's neck, rendering him unconscious, the AIM Nin smiled. With a smile, the snake Sannin turned to face Sasuke and thrust his neck forward, chomping down on the Uchiha's neck. Naruto showed up accompanied by teammates. Naruto and his group caught Orochimaru's attention. Ordinarily, Orochimaru wouldn't give a damn about pests like them, but since Anko was training Naruto, that caught his attention. Orochimaru smiled as he launched a barrage of shuriken and kunai at them. After blocking them with Zabuza's sword, Naruto charged his hand with electricity chakra. Naruto directed a lightning beam at Orochimaru's face while making a few hand gestures. Avoiding it, the snake unwrapped Kusanagi. Getting into a sword fight with Naruto got into a sword fight. He pushed Orochimaru to his knees with the weight of his weapon, and Orochimaru vanished, resulting in Naruto accidentally slamming the sword into the ground. Orochimaru made a few hand signals for a fireball technique before coming in for the kill. Naruto was pressed for time. A Hiraishin kunai and his sword are being unlocked. Before slamming his sword toward the Sannin and stabbing him in the stomach, Naruto passed it behind Orochimaru and used the seal on it to appear just behind him. Orochimaru smiled as he unhinged his mouth and spat himself out of it. Before he could do anything, Orochimaru put an exhaustion seal on the boy, and Naruto fell asleep instantly. Naruto started to channel his demonic chakra, but as he ran to battle Orochimaru and cut him in half, Orochimaru turned into a log. Then, as he vanished, Orochimaru smiled. Kukuku, this little guy seems like he could do anything. I used the venom from the curse seal on Sasuke-kun, but at least I have the Sharingan in my possession. Orochimaru thought, I'm going to burn this village down soon and have the Sharingan, and then I'll take that boy's body next with its power. Hinata whispered, Naruto-kun, as she knelt next to him and took off the seal. Although Naruto's human chakra was nearly exhausted, it was too late because Sakura was unable to use his demon chakra to restore his body's vitality, let alone be conscious enough to do so. It appeared that they would need to wait a day for him to get to his feet. They vanished, leaving Sasuke and his group by themselves while Naruto's group took refuge inside a hollowed-out tree. In order to help Naruto regenerate more chakra, Hinata began healing his chakra coil right away. Sakura observed Hinata's face and the concern in her eyes as this was happening. The pinkhead was envious of Hinata and Naruto's shared care. She didn't act brazenly, though, and she respected their relationship, Sakura said. What do you think about Naruto? He's kind and gentle along with happy, though he isn't devoid of any other emotions. I am not sure you've ever seen him like it, but Naruto can get angry like a wild animal. It surprises me how much influence I have on him. She continued. Whenever I am nearby, Naruto's calm, but if he gets angry and gets mad, then I am the only one who can calm him down, said Hinata. Sakura uttered, I see, prior to Hinata speaking. I've never told him this, but I love him, like a girlfriend, said Hinata. Sakura said, he said he was your boyfriend, Yano. Hinata's head snapped around so quickly that it nearly broke at that moment. What? Exclaimed Hinata. He loves you like a girlfriend, replied Sakura. Do you love him back? Yes. Of course I do. When I was little there was never a time I didn't think of him from saving me. I loved him, but he was so dense I thought he only saw me as a sister, said Hinata. Well, he loves you that way, so you should accept it, cause? Sakura stopped and said, Hinata? Yeah, said the brunette. Sakura began, I'm going to have to come clean, and then she inhaled deeply before exclaiming, I'm jealous. What? Said Hinata. You heard me, I am jealous of what you have. I see what you find appealing him to you. The fact he's almost always happy, he never insults somebody or gets angry for a bad reason, he's not obsessed with killing his family or pretends you're not there, he gives you attention. I am jealous of you, Hinata, and while I was chasing Sasuke I should have accepted those dates, but now Hinata, I see he's meant for you and I won't get in your way. Sakura said without a doubt. The notorious pink-haired leader of the Sasuke fan club had recently acknowledged that she no longer formally liked Sasuke and that she liked her boyfriend. The awkward silence in the room was broken by Hinata's, I see, statement. Gaara's eyes were filled with bloodlust as he ran through the forest. Temari and Kankuro were concerned because the redhead was drooling and his eyes had developed star-shaped pupils in the center. With a worried expression, Temari turned to face her adopted brother, but Kankuro simply turned to face her and gestured with his hand toward the ground, where a group of nin were based. Gaara caught sight of them. Mother's appetizers at last, Gaara thought. A voice addressed Temari and Gaara, saying, Go, my little Gaara-kun. Kill them, feed me their souls so I can be reborn. Temari's head began to pound, and a tiny smile appeared on her lips as Gaara smiled. Gaara smiled as he turned his arm into sand and glanced down at the nins. As Temari's face was now covered in a Higurashi face, Gaara hurled the hand forward and crushed the first nin. The fan user leapt to the ground and changed her arm into a huge arm that resembled Gaara's sand arm. The arm's hand transformed into a fan, blowing the ninja into the arm while knocking back the other two. Gaara launched a sand bomb, Ursana no Bakuden. Before it exploded, the Rasengan looking attack was hurled in the direction of the group. Gaara made a sign with one hand. Suna no Tokui. 10. Sand Singularity. When the ninja are sucked into the sand wraps around them, crushing them under its pressure before turning their skin, flesh, and bones into sand. Then Gaara smiled as she absorbed the sand. They were pleased when they got the scroll they needed, and Gaara was only hoping he could defeat Naruto. Gaara thought to himself, Uzumaki Naruto, I sense something within you. You're not human, are you? After a day, Hinata inquired, Naruto-kun, are you okay? As they walked away, Naruto said, yeah, I'm fine, Hinata-chan. Naruto and his companions leapt through the forest. They had just slain some ninjas from the dark-hued village of Yumigakure. They carried both scrolls as they made their way to the tower. They now needed to wait a day for the others to show up. The only people there were the Suna team, who had a Gaara who was constantly staring at Sasuke, the beaten up Auto team, and Team 8, who were furious with him and had a new, strange tattoo. Fortunately, Naruto had time to train, so he chose to learn how to use his summons while Hinata practiced her new Juken and Sakura practiced her Kenjutsu. Since he is the 10-tailed wolf, he should have been able to call his subjects. Naruto quickly discovered that Kurai, the boss summon, was a huge wolf about the size of a house. The wolf was white-furred, and the kanji for servant of Samsara was written on his forehead as a pair of Rinnegan eyes. Additionally, there were puppies and medium-sized wolves the size of Inazaka dogs. Naruto quickly discovered that Kabahime, his familiar, was a tiny puppy. You could tell the adorable little wolf pup was happy when she received the familiar summons of her god because she was also the runt of the litter. After a day, Ino, Shika.Cho, Kabuto's team, and Lee's team, with Neji clearly upset that Hinata had arrived earlier, showed up. Almost all of the teams were there, but Naruto was intrigued and all of their sensei were there, but Anko wasn't. In the meantime, the Snake Sannin and his erstwhile apprentice Anko Matriashi were engaged in combat. He vanished with a cackle of laughter, but the Snake Mistress was in a deadlock with the Snake Sannin. Kukuku Anko. Chan, I will see you later, but for the moment don't cancel the exams. I want to see Sasuke.kun and Naruto.kun fight. See, their skills canceling them will only result in a quicker destruction of the leaf, he said as he disappeared into a leaf swirl. Using a curse, Anko said, God damn creepy snake. As the Hokage babbled on about the tournament's significance, the teams were all lined up. They watched as the names appeared rough on the screen. Ding. Yamanaka Ino versus Haruno Sakura. Unaffected by the turn of events, the two girls leapt to the ground and exchanged glances. Sakura chose to wear a black costume with a katana by her side for the exams rather than a red one. Ino saw her sword. When did she get her sword? Ino wondered. The proctor said, Hajime, right away after Ino tried using her mind swapping ability and went through some hand signals. Sakura's sword deflected Ino's attack. Then, Ino launched a volley of kunai, but Sakura ducked them away once more. Naruto told Hinata, wow, Sakura has really improved. Hinata smiled weakly. Hinata said, clutching her fists, yeah, she has. Hinata. Chan, are you okay? She said, yeah, of course, as Naruto arched an eyebrow and kept watching. Sakura sprang up behind Ino, who sidestepped her blow and then unleashed more kunai. Sakura used her sword to deflect the kunai wear, and then she smiled as the blade turned into a pink light. After that, The blade broke up into Sakura petals. All of the petals suddenly hit Ino at once, but she was unharmed. According to Naruto, Genjutsu, as Naruto watched, the Sakura petal turned around and turned into a drill. This time, Ino was hurt because the attack left her back maimed. Before collapsing to the ground and losing consciousness, Ino began to bleed. According to Shikamaru, a Genjutsu, Ninjutsu hybrid. The proctor began, winner. Sakura, before Ino poofed into the smoke. Ino suddenly materialized behind Sakura, who was struck by her mind jutsu. The two girls' minds fought, but they abruptly passed out from the stress. This match is a draw, appeared on the following screen, and it started again. Every match proceeded as planned, with the exception of Kiba's matchup with Rock Lee, and yes, Neji even defeated Hinata. Naruto Uzumaki vs Gaara of the Sand. Before Gaara appeared with his sand, Naruto smiled as he shushed in front of him in a leaf. The proctors yelled, "Go!" as soon as Naruto cleared some ground and launched a series of fireballs. Gaara used his gorged sand to deflect them. Manipulation of sand. He is undoubtedly a demon, possibly a tanuki. Trying not to laugh at the idea of becoming an uncle, Naruto thought, his chakra is just like mine. He's no way he's Shukaku. Nekken's son. As his head started to ache uncontrollably, Gaara said, "Will you please me, Naruto Uzumaki? Give me your blood, and I'll crush you. Donate your blood to Moth-Ah." "Why, mother, why can't I kill him?" "I'm sorry, mother, but I must," Gaara said, launching his sand, which Naruto managed to avoid. "Wow, Naruto's gotten really tough since I last saw him," said Choji. Sasuke pondered, "Why is so strong? I need power like that. If I fight him, this brat might be a challenge," Neji thought. Anko and Haku arrived on the banister in the meantime. Anko. "Sensei," Sakura, who had sat on the banister after recovering from her fight, gasped. "Hey Gaki, what happened?" Sakura remarked. "Hinata lost to Neji. I was in a draw and Naruto's now fighting," while figures in the shadows observed the battle. One of them was dressed as a wolf, while the other was dressed as a bat wearing an Anbu mask. The one with the wolf mask said, "Naruto.kun, try your hardest." Meanwhile on the ground Naruto dodged and weaved his way past Gaara's attacks, dodging them and returning fire with fireballs and air gusts. Naruto went through a set of hand signs before vomiting a wave of water that caused Gaara's sand to turn to mud. Gaara then used the sand he placed underground to create a hole in the floor and watched as the water fell into the hole before being sealed up by a scroll. After all, he is an Uzumaki, why wouldn't he know sealing? Naruto watched as sand blasted out from the hole and created its own layer of sand on the ground. Jumping out the way, many hands flew out from underneath him. Naruto used Zabuza's sword and used an electricity shield sealing jutsu to deflect the attacks. Naruto watched as he descended. If he landed he would get mauled and die, but he couldn't. He had to avenge Hinata. He needed to avenge Hinata. Suddenly yellow chakra chains flew out of his back and stabbed the ground around Gaara. The chain retracted into Naruto's back, causing him to fly towards Gaara. With Rasengan in hand he began his assault on Gaara. Gaara dodged the Rasengan and watched as his gold dust turned into a wave towards him. Sarutobi went wide-eyed, as did the other Jonin. Sarutobi believed that to be Kushina's yellow chakra chains. Kurenai and Yugito turned to face Anko, who thought, Kushina. Sensei's Kekkei Genkei. He extracted a scroll using the chakra chains and sealed the wave of sand that Gaara had redirected at him using the Uzumaki clan's Fuinjutsu technique. Naruto then unlocked his mother's katana and sealed the scroll. Anko exclaimed, "That Kushina. Sensei's katana." Then, using the blade, Naruto directed his red chakra toward Gaara, who ducked but saw as his hand transformed the desert into glass in 45 seconds. Then, in order to disarm Naruto and capture him, Gaara called forth more sand from the surrounding area. Gaara smiled maniacally. He exclaimed, "Sand coffin," as Naruto's body was crushed. Sakura and Anko exclaimed, "Naruto," as the seal that contained his demon power burst. "Naruto!" exclaimed Sakura and Anko. A blast of purple yokai suddenly erupted from the sand prison, setting the sand on fire and destroying it. Fearing that this power was too great, Gaara's eyes widened. Naruto just fell. The kanji for 10. Tails appeared on Naruto's shoulder as his clothes were torn apart by the swirling vortex of purple chakra, and Samahata. Like scales erupted from his arms, turning his skin purple. As Naruto's hair grew into a huge bush of white hair with a purple tint at the tips, they were replaced by a white sleeveless kimono shirt and white shinobi pants. A light purple shirt then appeared underneath. Naruto's whisker marks and teeth turned feral, and he smiled as he grew 10 wolf tails. Naruto's eyes narrowed and turned purple. A number of Rinnegan patterns with 6 tomoe on the line of each ring were visible to him before. On his head, a third eye opened and acquired a basic Sharingan on his forehead. Then 2 horns appeared, and his sword changed into a silver sword with a golden trimmed guard and a white hand. Gaara's eyes almost protruded from his head, as well as Haku's and Sakura's. Sakura told herself, Naruto, you can't be your the Shinju. Still in disbelief, the recovered Ino questioned, the Shinju, what is that? The 10 tails, was what Sakura said, and Anko turned to face her in embarrassment. Gaara began pleading, Lord Samsara, let me speak. Samsara said, speak brat. Before Samsara turned to leave, Gaara said, Samsara Otsutsuki, I beg your forgiveness, my lord, I had no idea you were the Shinju. Samsara. Sama, I beg for your forgiveness, please, I don't want to die, Gaara said. I shall spare you but only because you are my nephew. Gaara's, Hi uncle, statement caused everyone's eyes to enlarge, prior to Sarutobi showing up on the ground. He made a firm demand, who are you? Samsara teased, oh Gigi, do you not remember me? It's me, Naruto. No you can't be, I won't accept that, Sarutobi replied. What kind of demon are you? Humph, what kind of demon am I? I am the Shinju the 10-tailed wolf, I am the son of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze. I am a demon, in fact I am a demon prince heir to the throne of the 10 tails. Little brother of the 9 tails, Shukaku and son Goku. He said with a grin before Sakura appeared on the. As Sakura put it, you're the 10 tails, yes. After Sarutobi began, Sakura bowed to Samsara. Sakura.san get back before. Please forgive my previous actions during our childhood Samsara. Sama, said Sakura. Before Sakura glared at him, Sarutobi said, Sakura.san, I know you're scared, but you don't have to bow down to this demon that has possessed Naruto. Temari, Kurenai, Anko, and pretty much everyone else were still in shock. Sakura said, I'm sorry, Sarutobi, but it seems like you don't understand the situation. I'm a vampire and a demon too, she added, taking off her seal. Her costume turned black, her eyes turned black, and her hair turned white. As Sarutobi attacked them, Samsara's eyes widened a little. Damn demons, Sarutobi spat. Samsara ducked out of the way of the old man's multiple punches. Sarutobi never returned a single blow before launching a barrage of flames. As he consumed the fire, Samsara muttered curses. Samsara said, damn it Gigi, do you want me to kill you? Immediately after Sarutobi said, even if you don't, I'm going to kill you foul demon. Samsara recoiled. Sarutobi, I'm sorry. Samsara immediately stepped in front of Sarutobi, grabbed his neck, and then turned to say, tell Konohamaru, I'm sorry. A tiny tear ran down the old man's eye before he snapped his neck. Naruto uttered the words, why you old fool, as he began to cry. Orochimaru and Asama snarled. Asuma said, stop acting like you're a heartless demon, oblivious to Anko and Kurenai's recoil. Then Asuma threw himself at Samsara, who unwittingly cut him in two. Before Samsara was attacked by a number of other shinobi, Kurenai simply stood there like a ghost. Anger is gradually beginning to seep into Naruto. Yes, Kushina said to Samsara, let Hinata be your link to love that is true power your hatred. Yes, given my little Samsara.kun become the demon prince you were given into your rage and hatred. In Samsara's mind, Benihime said, yes, little brother, embrace your hatred and destroy them all. Out of Samsara, more yokai suddenly flew. His body quickly changed into that of a white furred wolf with red markings all over it, including red Inazaka marks, and he was on all fours. Kiba just stared as Akamaru began to wimp. Kiba whispered, Shinigami no Okami, king of Akuma no Okami. Come over here, demon. Kakashi and the other Anbu shinobi remarked, Minato. Sensei is not even close to being a monster like you. Samsara laughed, oh Kakashi so weak, and then she appeared behind the shinobi, causing blood to suddenly spurt from their backs with numerous bite marks. Come Sakura, we must leave before the others attack us, let's find Hinata and let this cesspool rot away, Samsara said. Then Sakura and Naruto departed. Sakura glanced at Ino, who was wearing a mortified expression, as they leapt into the forest. Sakura said, Samsara. Sama, are we going? Naruto returned to his human form and said, we should pick up Hinata first, as she lives in the demon realm. But Naruto smiled and reassured Sakura that he was still inside, saying, don't worry, Sakura Hinata was turned into a demon a long time ago, she's a demon shifter. As Sakura perspired, Gaara called out to Temari, uncle, When Naruto said, "Hey Gaara, they're already planning to kill you. We snuck out while no one was listening, but I think your sensei a demon." She looked super uncomfortable, Temari said. Gaara and Temari exchanged glances as Naruto said, "I and Sakura are leaving for the demon world. Are you coming?" "Yes," Temari replied. When he stopped, Naruto remarked, "Good, first things first, grab on." They all reluctantly seized Naruto's coat before vanishing in a flurry of yellow, white, and red. Returning with Hinata, Naruto quickly alerted the doctors by hurling a kunai into their heads. After nodding, they departed before grabbing Hinata. As they hurried to his house, where Kushina and Sayuri waited, Naruto held onto Hinata. Sakura was startled to discover her inside. "Mum," was what Sakura said. "Hello there Sakura, Chan and Samsara.kun. M.Ma respect. Oh come on, I saved Naruto.kun back when he was 6. Even back then he didn't like formalities," said Sayuri. Naruto remarked, "It took her a very long time to leave them." Sakura inquired, "So where are we going?" As she opened the portal, Kushina said, "To Demon World, come now." With anxiety, Sakura said, Who are you?" "I am the current Shinju. I am Kushina Uzumaki or Kagaya Otsutsuki. I am the mother of Shukaku, son Goku the 4 Tails, Benihime the 9 Tails and Naruto," she said while bowing her head. Sakura remarked, "I meant you know, no offense," while Kushina laughed. She grinned and said, "Just like your mother," before becoming serious and saying, "Come on, let's leave," which caused everyone to cry. Within the realm of demons, Gaara, Sakura, and Temari observed their surroundings. Looking around, they saw that they were on a mountain, and below them, they saw a city. The sky was dark purple with white clouds, and they could see a huge temple in front of them. The city's neon lights and buildings gave the impression that it was a much larger version of Konoha. The city was dotted with other temples, and every other mountain had a comparable temple with a kanji for a number. A total of 10 are worn. The base of the 9 tails was on the left, and each mountain was precisely positioned to form a huge wall encircling the city. It became clear that the 10 mountains had various temples, starting with the one on the right. From there came the 2 Tails Temple, followed by the 3 Tails Temple, the 4 Tails Temple, the 5 Tails Temple, and so on, until it circled back to the much larger 10 Tails Temple. This is Makai the Demon World, but more so this is Cage City, home of the tailed beasts. Well, it would if anybody other than me and Naruto lived here along with the other demons. Kushina replied. "Come, I will get you accommodated inside Temari, Gaara," she said. As Sakura, Gaara, Temari, Naruto, and Kushina entered the Shinju Temple, Sayuri said, "Sakura, I already have a home in the city." Suddenly, Kushina saw an Oni and Naruto saw a wolf. They both asked at once, "How was your trip, master?" and then glared at one another. To which Naruto replied, "It was good, excellent, but there will be challenges soon," Kushina remarked. Like what? Kushina introduced Temari and Gaara to their rooms, saying, "I'll explain later anyway. Let's get Gaara and Temari accustomed." Naruto and Gaara were left alone when Kushina went off to speak with her minions. Naruto said, "Sup?" Gaara said, "Not much that you don't know, uncle," which made Naruto palm his face. "Please stop calling me uncle, it's getting on my nerves. Ya no, just call me Naruto, ya no," Naruto replied. "It's normal here for people here to be the same age and yet be an uncle, because when you live in the demon world everyone is immortal," Naruto clarified. "Oh okay." Temari winced as Naruto said, "So Gaara, you mentioned something about your mother." "My mother is known as Shukaku, but as you will find out, her real name is Kurai. She is a Tanuki spirit and has been sealed away by Suna in a temple. My mother often contacts me to release her, but I can't as we both have security seals on us that will kill us." "But Naruto, could you release her? You have the ability to," replied Gaara. "Sure, but for the moment we can't, not yet. A organization called Akatsuki are after demons like us. They're trying to seal Biju into a large statue and drain yokai from lesser demons into a large stone pillar. I'll talk about this more later. All you really need to know is stay away from anyone with a black cloak with red clouds along," Naruto said. "Okay Naruto, but what about their members? Do you know anything about them?" "Yes, in fact I do. Their leader appears to be a man who somehow obtained the Rinnegan. He is some sort of fanatic about the sealment of demons to protect the world. Ironic thing is, if he seals all the Biju including me and my mum, he'll recreate a demon that almost wiped out the world. The other members include Itachi Uchiha, Kisame Hoshigaki and a man named Tobi," Naruto said before going on. "My brother Goku was attacked by Kisame Hoshigaki, but he managed to escape thankfully. I am not sure what Biju Tobi has been assigned," Naruto said. "Is there any chance that they could win and seal us? What would happen?" said Temari. They do have a strong chance of winning. Akatsuki is filled with tons of SS. Rank missing nin and have many contact all over the world. If they win and seal all the Biju in the statue of the outer path, then he will create the rebirth of the Dark One. The precursor to the Shinju bloodline, the precursor to God himself. The Dark One is exactly what it sounds, darkness. Once before a world there was a world of darkness, but then a man created light to ripple the shadows and used the hope this to destroy the darkness. The darkness was then sealed into a tree, but when Kagaya Otsutsuki, the one who is not my mother, muttering afterwards. Anyway, the fruit was the light, and with the light gone the darkness could be reborn as the Shinju. So basically you're a part of pure evil. Yeah, which is why Hinata Chan is so important. Each of the Shinju found other lights that prevented them from becoming pure demons, such as Mito Otsutsuki, who fell in love with her husband. My mother loves her children, so that was her light, and mine is Hinata and my mum. The only one to not have a light was Hakai, which resulted him to be the Shinju of legend with an undying wrath and hatred. Samsara stated, "This here is my first form. I have several forms. The first is my human form when my demonic blood was locked away. The second is this form here. My third is a wolf-man-like form. The fourth is a pure white wolf with red markings. This is my tailed beast form, and the fifth is my most dangerous. It's my darkened state where I become pure evil incarnate. Of course, unless anything happened to Hinata, I will never enter my fifth state," explained. "I see. Does Kushina Chan have anything like this?" said Gaara. "Yes, none of you guys have seen any of her forms, but I've seen all of Ma's transformations except the fifth," said Naruto. "I see. What about my mother and the rest of your siblings?" "I've never met my brother, so I don't know his transformations, but I know that Benihime can turn into a human form, but also her second form along with the third and fourth. I guess the same goes with Kurai and Goku," he replied. Gaara said, "I see. In the meantime, Konoha." Asuma roared in front of the crowd. "Demons killed our beloved fourth Hokage and her third. For all we know there are demons all around us. We must find them and kill them," Asuma said through the megaphone, and everyone nodded. Kurenai and Anko, meanwhile, sat anxiously in a nearby house. Anko asked her closest friend, "What are we going to do?" "I don't know. Asuma's gone completely off the rails," said Kurenai. "What about the Inazaka clan? Do you think they'll find out they're all wolf men and women?" "Most likely the clan are preparing for a steady evacuation to the demon realm. Meanwhile the civilian demons are being taken one by one to the demon world." Anko asked, "What about Lord Samsara?" "God, I never imagined that Gaki would have me calling him Lord Samsara," Anko remarked in his mind. "He's gone to the demon realm. Haku's next to be transported to the city. We will approach the castle and ask if Lord Kushina and Samsara will lend us a hand," said Kurenai. Anko remarked, "But what happens if Asuma finds out?" According to Kurenai, he won't. Asuma said, "Oh, we'll see about that," as a smiling mob stood behind her.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.